My friend growing up in high school used to have parties every weekend, every single weekend. His parents had a lake house.
Mm-hmm.
So they would, by a Thursday night, boom, they're off. They're gone to the lake for, the weekend, long weekends, whatever it is. And he had people at his house every single, now it was, he never enjoyed it. I think what he enjoyed was he enjoyed being the go-to guy for the party. Everybody knew him because he had the party, so he gained a certain level of popularity. I mean, he was already popular, but there was some cachet that went with it. I was the cruise director.
Yeah.
He was responsible for everything, but I was the cruise director. I was greeting people at the door, and I was, keeping the party going and having fun, and he was walking around. He's one of these guys that would walk around cleaning, starting at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
He's got the garbage bag. You guys done with that stuff? Trying to stay ahead of the curve. Just trying to stay ahead of the curve. Dude, you're bumming everybody out with the cleaning.
Yeah.
Stop it. Just go have fun.
It's funny. You can't even enjoy
your
yourself
girlfriend is
like
mad
that.
at you because you're walking around cleaning. Go hang out with your girlfriend.
You had a good responsibility in that situation, though. The greeter / guy who keeps the party going.
Oh, yeah. And it always ended up with me and the guy whose house it was in a sequestered room at some point in the night with him just screaming at me.
Yeah.
I told you I didn't want people from other schools. Well, I don't know, dude. They just showed up. Can't be a dick about it, Come on, it's a party. Why are you harshing the party? It was always like that. I had a really good weekend. I had my son. It was my son's birthday weekend. We had a great time. We went out to the Harley Davidson dealership up there in Allen on Saturday. He always enjoys that. That was fun. Then I'll tell you, Jimmy, something. Maybe only you have kids, you understand this. Do you know about the whole Chuck E. Cheese thing? Did you go to the Chuck E. Cheese when you were a little kid?
Yeah, like a few times. It wasn't nearly as big as a deal. It didn't seem.
Oh, it's a big deal now.
Yeah,
it's a big deal now. Oh yeah, that damn kid. There's a Chuck E. Cheese right next to that Allen Harley Davidson, so I knew that when we were leaving Harley Davidson, we weren't really leaving.
You were
we weren't really leaving. We had to go to Chuck E. Cheese. We had to. You had that big damn mouse mascot everywhere, and we parked like right in front of the Chuck E. Cheese. And he doesn't know it. He calls it Chuck E. Cheese's. He's like, I want to go Chuck E. Cheese's. I want to go Chuck E. Cheese's. Hi, Chuck E. Cheese. And he's like waving at it, and I'm like,
spotted it.
I just want to go home. I just want to go home. We've been out here all day in Allen, motorcycle exhaust fumes and girls in bikinis and, fat dudes and rock concert T-shirts. It was too much. It was a lot of fun, and we had a great time, but it was time to go. But no, we had to go into Chuck E. Cheese, and what I've discovered is, dude, it doesn't matter how much time you spend at Chuck E. Cheese. It doesn't matter. You can, like I said, we're going to stay for a half hour. We're going to be a half hour, okay? You play a couple of games, half hour, and then we'll go. Okay, Daddy, just a half hour. Okay, that's what we'll do. We ended up staying like an hour and a half, and that's because I extended it because I'm a good dad, and it was his birthday weekend, and he was having fun. He was playing with some other kids and all that stuff. So it does not matter, though, how much time you give the kid at Chuck E. Cheese. When it's time to leave, you're going to look like you're abducting someone.
Yeah.
Seriously. And do you know they've got like this checkout thing? There's only one exit at Chuck E. Cheese, so people can't steal kids, which is probably good.
Because they all go the exact same way, kicking and screaming.
They all go, yes. And I'm sitting there like we're playing a game, and he doesn't even play the game. It's a big waste of money. I just put the quarter in or the token in, and the game lights up, and then he just starts hitting buttons, and it's over really quick. Here's actually how he does it. He'll play a game. Daddy, I want to play this one. So I'll walk in, I'll put the quarter or the token. He'll stare at the game for about 30 seconds, and he'll go, and he'll turn and just walk away, leaving a full game for someone else. So I'm constantly trailing behind him looking for older kids that aren't going to waste the game going, hey, jump on. He just left. And then he'll go to the next game, put a quarter in, we'll stare at it for 30 seconds, and he'll be like, okay, next game. Like, he doesn't understand like the playing of it. He just likes to watch the cartoons in the game.
He gets to just float around. He doesn't really, bother with how many tokens he had to put in.
Fun is fun. Who am I to say that, that wasn't a quarter's worth of fun? For him it was. So I'm not really angry that he's wasting the game. And I was kind of pleased that I was able to let other kids jump in. And we had like a trail of kids, like 3 kids who were just always within like a couple of feet of me because they figured out that they would get free games if they just hung out with me and Mace.
Oh, no, you had like a line, a trailing line of kids.
Yeah. Actually, the kid's name was Manny. He was a little Mexican kid. And he's like, can I play this one too? I'm like, yeah, Manny, get in there. He's like, okay. And he like gets in there. But when it comes time to leave, they give you a stamp. You walk in, they give you a stamp on one arm, and then they give the kid a stamp on his arm.
Right.
And the stamps match up. So, I'm the parent that's with this kid.
Oh, that's pretty smart.
Anyone that tries to leave, they get their arm wanded, and if they have a number that's different from the number that's on the kid, no, you can't leave. But man, and I know why they do that, because I carried the kid out like a sack of potatoes over my shoulder with him kicking me in the face and screaming and scratching my back, and I'm like, I look like I'm abducting this kid. It's the only way to leave Chuck E. Cheese.
Can you imagine? I mean, like, Chuck E. Cheese has gotten to the point where they've actually had to come up with a system to make it not, so that they can actually decipher whether or not you are abducting kids on the way out.
Apparently
because it's so good.
And the other thing, did this story a couple of years ago. Do you know what, in most areas, I don't know how to phrase this, if your town has a Chuck E. Cheese, it is more than likely that is the number one location in your town for police calls.
Oh, wow.
Police get called to Chuck E. Cheese more than any other business in the town. You would think like the local, maybe a gentleman's club or something. No, it's Chuck E. Cheese. And you want to know why?
What is it?
Chuck E. Cheese is the place where divorced people come together to celebrate kids' birthdays. So you almost always have something going on between the ex-husband and the new husband, or the biological daddy and the stepdaddy or whatever. And there are think about it, it makes sense.
Yeah, it really does.
It's because it's the one time where two people who have broken up, who hate each other, where they almost have to be in the same room with their new significant others. And then your new girlfriend gives your ex-wife a dirty look, and then suddenly the ex-wife has had one too many beers, and now actually I don't even know, do they serve beer at Chuck E. Cheese? I'm not even sure.
They do.
They do?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. Whenever I'm there, I'm with my kids.
Probably need to stop is what we're coming to.
Yeah.
The setting's already bad enough.
Fights in the parking lot. I mean, you go on YouTube. You could go on YouTube and just randomly search Chuck E. Cheese brawl, and there'll just be a whole bunch of them. A whole bunch of, parents acting like hooligans.
Day starts out so positive for the kid. All of a sudden, there's a brawl out front.
Inevitably, the kid will be crying in the parking lot, holding the hand of some aunt he's only seen 3 times in his life because mom is talking to the police.
Who also can't leave because she doesn't have the same registered number on her hand.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. All right, so we had that on Saturday. But then I had really the worst possible news that could ever befall my little family. Found that out yesterday. I wake up in the morning, I go online, I have my little soda, and I start looking at what's going on in the world. And boy, the first story that just whacked me upside the head yesterday, like a ton of bricks, Jimmy Ryan. Mm-hmm. You can't understand this. Maybe someday you will. Probably not. They came out with the list of the most popular baby names for 2012 last year.
Oh, okay.
Dude, Mason, my son's name, is the big mover. It's the Justin Bieber of baby names. It has gone from, it was number 97 4 years ago in the top 100 names. It was 97 4 years ago when we named my son Mason. We struggled for a name for months and months, and we wanted a unique name that was also masculine. And I was thinking, okay, he could Mason would be the full name. The nickname could be Mace. Mace is a very masculine. Mace Windu, very cool masculine name. Nobody has it. We considered it a good sign when we were at baby shops looking for stuff, and you'd go through all the little baby license plates, and there was no name for Mason. We're like, okay, that's good. He's going to have a unique, cool name. Well, as of yesterday, it's gone from 97, the year that my son was born, number 97, to number 2. The number 2 most popular baby name in all of America is now Mason. The unique and masculine name that we struggled for 9 months to come up with for my son is now number 2. And do you want to know why?
What is it?
Because Khloe Kardashian named her son 3 years ago Mason.
No.
And every white trash, hillbilly, trailer park living, knocked up 16-year-old in the world decided that they were going to name their next kid Mason because that's a Kardashian name.
Oh, man.
So now you know what I'm stuck with? Now I'm stuck with a son who's going to grow up with a white trash name. Because I can't imagine that all these other Masons that are being born in trailer parks where the families gather around and watch the Kardashians religiously and put enough stroke on that family to think that, oh, well, they named their kid that. I'm going to name my kid that. My kid was not named after a Kardashian. My kid was born 7 months before that damn Kardashian kid. So for 7 months, it was a cool, unique name. Now every little boy is. Here's the story. The Social Security Administration, Jimmy Ryan's latest list of the top baby names has been released. And it offers a fresh look at which names to avoid if you care at all about your kid's individuality. See, even they are making fun of me now.
I did feel like they were just kind of rubbing it in at that point.
It's awful. Nothing to write home about on the girls' list. Sophia took the top spot from Isabella, which, you know, these are names within the last 10 years, too. When I was growing up, there were no Sophias or Isabellas in my classes. They were all Marys and Janes and Jessicas and Karens and... Karen, that's not a name that you hear. But I don't know anybody who's having a baby who named their kid Karen. That's a dead name.
Yeah. Well, have you seen Freakonomics? It's
no.
It's basically,
I'm familiar with it, but
yeah, it's really kind of intriguing. Like, it starts out like it does a bunch of random stories that kind of give you an idea of like how we work socially in a way. And one of them, the main stories, is on names and how they kind of regenerate themselves. Mm-hmm. And it always is one thing that ends up happening. Like, for instance, like a really popular girl could become a stripper, and all of a sudden that name goes down. See what I mean? Like, because not everybody wants somebody to be named somebody that was a famous stripper. Much like Mason became popular. So you had that, so there's these weird fluctuations in names, and it's kind of interesting, all the things that, like, kind of make those names happen.
Growing up, okay, Brandon from Sunbrew, for me, Brandon would have been a unique name. There were not many Brandons growing up. Everybody was Jim, John, Mike, Robert, Tim, Kevin. You know, those were all if you were a boy, those were your names. Now, Sam the mailman, well, that's not his name. His name's Mark. Okay, I was going to say, Sam is kind of a dead name, too, although I imagine Sam is a name that'll come back.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like old schooly.
It'll kind of regenerate itself at some point.
And little babies look like Sams. You know? I mean, you know what I mean? You can see that. It looks like a Sam, and Art, Phil. No, not Phil. Phil's a dead name. But for generations, in America at least, names were almost exclusively derived from biblical names. That's we're all named after saints. St. James, St. John, this is where those names came from. But now it's like, it's a crapshoot now. Now you just make up a name, and it'll stick, you know? Like, well, I guess Mason. I mean, when my son Mason was born, there was one Mason. I mean, I was looking up everybody historically, people with the names of Mason. And there's a lot of last names Mason because it's a family name. But it was Mason. There was Mason Williams, who was like a comedy writer in the 70s. And then there was like this weird looking kid, Mason something, who used to do like deviled ham commercials in the 70s. Mason Reese, I think was his name or something. But that was it. Those were the only two Masons. And I thought, okay, I feel good about this.
You're really having a stretch if you are at least acknowledging the guy who made deviled ham commercials.
Well, he was kind of a pop culture phenomenon in the 70s.
Okay.
He was a fat little kid. Like, if you, again, YouTube the Mason.
Okay.
Mason deviled ham. This little fat redheaded kid will come up. He was you weren't alive yet, but he was all over TV in the 70s. All right, so nothing to write home about on the girls' list of names. Sophia took the top spot from Isabella, which had been the reigning queen for 2 years running. Emma, Olivia, and Ava remain the runners-up. See, I know kids with 7-8-year-old daughters named, Emma, and I know an Olivia. And they were beautiful, unique throwback names when those names were. Now it's like every little girl is an Olivia. Every little girl is an Emma. You know, it's like...
It does kind of show how quickly we can be uncreative as a society when everybody just goes, "Oh, Emma? Yeah, I'll go with Emma."
Well, you want to know how I settled on Mason? There was a character in a movie or a TV show named Mason. Okay, and I don't remember what it was, but I remember my wife and I went, "Oh, I kind of like that name." And so we started thinking about it, and then I started sort of reverse engineering what the name could mean to my son, and I came up with wanting to name the kid Dixon. I thought Dixon would be cool, but then I went, oh, Dick, no. No,
Yeah.
he's gonna get because the Mason-Dixon line.
Right.
His mother is from right on the Mason-Dixon line. I'm from the north. He was born in the south, so I kind of thought, oh, okay, Mason-Dixon, maybe that could be the full name.
That's kind of cool.
I thought, okay, it's kind of a cool story on how he got his name.
Yeah.
No, now everyone's just going to assume that it's a Kardashian. Now everyone is just going to be like, oh, you watch the Kardashians? No, I really don't. I really don't. And I remember when that damn Kardashian baby was born, and they announced his name was Mason, because my ex-wife used to watch the show. She's like, oh, guess what? Kourtney Kardashian named her baby Mason. And I remember immediately thinking, oh, crap. Because I just knew that there was going to be a bunch of like white trash pregnant strippers who were going to start naming their kids Mason, and that means that my son's going to grow up with a white trash name, because only white trash names their kid after a Kardashian. Seriously, folks. Seriously. If you saw the Kardashians name their kid Mason and decided, oh, I'm going to name it after a Kardashian, come on. That would be a deal breaker. Had that Kardashian kid been born before, there's no way in hell we would have named my son Mason. No way in hell.
There's been like a straight cutoff point for a lot of people now with Mason, probably because they've heard of this Kardashian one.
Kill the name, please. Kill the name now. Let's stop the madness before there's just a bunch of Masons running around stealing your car stereos in 17 years. All right, let's see here. On the boys' side, however, there are lots to discuss. Anthony has been kicked off. Look at that.
Wow.
Anthony and Michael is out of the top 5 for the first time since 1948. So Anthony and Michael, two diehard male names for our American culture, biblical names in origin, are now gone. Forget about it.
Wow.
It's all like Josh's and Luke's and, crap like that now.
We're moving more towards like, I think it was, I can't think of his name. But I'll give him credit if I can think of it. But he said that we're not men anymore. We're just becoming kind of like bros, more bro names, and like those kind of go along with that. This
is my son, Dude.
Yeah, yeah, we're becoming dudes.
This is my son, Dude, and his brother, Broham. Let's see here. Anthony's been kicked off, and Michael's out of the top 5 for the first time since 1948, all because of a dark horse named Mason, who makes his Winner's Circle debut at number 2 on the 2012 list. According to the Today Show, experts say many parents were inspired to name their child Mason after Kourtney Kardashian picked the name for her firstborn in 2009. That's right, enough parents are taking their kids' naming cues from Kourtney Kardashian that her moniker of choice was the second most popular name in America last year. Good Lord!
This is just one of those times when I'm beaten up by who we're surrounded by.
You are, Jimmy. Do you understand? Giving your child a name is the first and most important gift a parent will ever give to their child, and that's why parents struggle so hard, because they recognize that this isn't just. I'm not just naming a dog here. I'm not just naming my pet goldfish. I am giving a human being something, a calling card that they're going to have to go out into the world with, and they're going to have to introduce themselves as. So it's got to be good. It's got to have something of meaning to it. And now it's like there's going to be a ton of them.
Yeah, it's. Well, hopefully he's going. I would imagine that the other Masons that are named this way are going to set the bar so low that your Mason is going to look much better.
I don't know, or he'll just get, it'll just be like, well, the other Mason doesn't have to do his homework. No, but you do. See?
Oh no, there's gonna be classrooms full of Masons.
I know. There will be. Well, luckily, he's 3 years ahead, and this is just this year. So the big boom in names seems to have occurred within the last couple of years. So Mason will be like 3 years higher than them, older. So maybe his classroom won't be as crazy.
Yeah, he does. He has like first. He's not going to wear out the name. He gets to go in first, be kind of like a little bit different, and then the Kourtney Kardashian
and then all those
era
other Masons will come in and ruin it for him.
Yeah, but he's already through there.
But
so
I don't want. Okay, for instance, like I am sure that at some point there was nothing wrong with the name Adolf. Okay, nothing wrong with it at all. German Bavarian name. Lots of people were named Adolf.
Strong name.
Yeah. Well, I don't. It seems strange, but I'm not culturally Bavarian, so it seems bizarre to me. Adolf, You know, I don't like that. But okay, whatever. They might like it. That name is ruined now.
Yeah.
Nobody can name their kid Adolf.
Or that mustache. I mean,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's ruined that mustache. And boy, is Charlie Chaplin pissed.
Yeah, that ruined it all. Yeah, and there's just certain things that will kind of take it away from you. You know, you can't do it anymore.
How about names like Amber? That's another name. I'd like to see where the name Amber is on this list, because you want to talk about a name that has been destroyed by white trash. Amber, that name has been ruined. Every bad girl that I can think of under the age of 30 is named Amber. Or every Amber I know under the age of 30 has gotten into some shit. Has gotten into, just made some poor choices.
Yeah, like if I hear that a girl's name is Amber, I usually think, oh, she's going to be fun. Like, she's going to be like outlandish. Girl. Yeah, she's going to be doing all types of. She's probably going to get you in trouble.
But you know what the worst chick name is of all time, though? And I've done huge studies on this. Everyone that I've ever met has been like, Crystal.
Crystal.
If your name is Crystal, you drive a Firebird. You have fuzzy dice hanging from the mirror. You got an ashtray that is overflowing with cigarettes, and you got Burger King bags in the back seat. That's if your name is Crystal. That's probably what you're into.
I think that I know two, and immediately that's exactly. I think that one of them may actually have a Firebird.
So it's a white trash name.
Yeah.
It is. I'm sorry. It's a white. It has become. I'm not saying you are white trash for having the name Crystal. That don't get me wrong. We're in the same boat now. I got a son named Mason who now has a white trash name. So please don't think that I'm taking a shot. Just be aware, and I'm sure you do. I'm sure if your name is Crystal, every time somebody goes on like some. Every time there's a nationwide manhunt for some girl who's done something ridiculous, you know, chances are her name's going to be Crystal or something like that. I think it has to do with like a crystal. Well, actually, I was going to say diamond, but you know, diamond is like the black crystal. I don't know any white kids or white girls named Diamond, but I did know two black girls back in Chicago named Diamond.
Yeah, I would almost be like taken aback if if I was introduced to a white girl and her name was Diamond.
Diamond. This is Diamond.
I would look around and be like, is there a strip club somewhere around here?
Black people have had the advantage over white people in this area for years. It has just been accepted that black people can make up any name they want and attach it to their kid, and we'll all just be fine with it. So good for you. But white people can't get away with just adding like "la" to a standard name. Like you're James. If you were a black kid, you might be La James.
Right.
You know?
Gives a little bit of spunk.
A little bit of style.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit of something.
Yeah, because like mine is like 3 generations in. This could have used like a little bit of like an upgrade, you know?
Yeah. Maybe you'd like to be La James Ryan.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah. Like I'm pretty sure that people would have like been like, oh, La James Ryan. Well, then let's go get a drink.
And then there's the famous case of, do you remember the basketball player Anthony Hardaway?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anthony Hardaway's name was supposed to be Anthony Hardaway. But I don't know if they were pronouncing it wrong and they spelled it phonetically, but he was given the official name of Anferny instead of Anthony. Anferny.
Because you know what? Screw TH. I never really cared for TH.
Screw TH.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that kind of embarrassing, though? You know?
I don't know. See, it's a nice little spin, you know? Like, you know, because you get to, like, correct people immediately. Like, no, right. Anthony. You must have misheard that.
No, it's not Anthony. It's Anthony. My parents were inarticulate. That's the problem we have there. All right, so a list of new baby names has taken a big, broad swipe at my son. My son, whose name was 97 on the list of the 100 most popular boys' names when he was born 3 years ago. 97! I thought, it wasn't too weird. It wasn't outside the 100. That means there were 96 other boys' names more popular than Mason when my son was born. That's a lot. That's pretty good. You go to the gift shop at Disney, you can't find a license plate with his name. That's good. You want that. You want the unique aspects to the name. Now, 3 years later, it has gone from 97 to number 2 on the list of most popular names, and I haven't broken it. I haven't told him yet. I'm sure he's going to be crushed. I'm sure he is just going to be so upset.
I think time is one of these things that you just need to let it separate from that for a little while.
I guess we'll see. We'll see how these other Masons that were born and named after Kourtney Kardashian's young son Mason. We'll see how they behave. Let's hope they toe the line and don't embarrass all the other Masons.
I'm going to feel so bad if, 10 years, 15 years from now, I'm just hearing about these schools that are set up for Masons to go to. It's like an alternative
Special
Mason
schools.
Yeah.
Special schools for Masons and crystals. And a couple of ambers sprinkled in. We'll take a break. We'll come back. It's PMS, the Pugs Moran Show on thebarlive.com.
No. I said he's so sweet and on the rapper. Venus, baby. Lollipop, West is just like Dolly Parton. She ride my spaceship till she hit the top. That hit the spot till she asks how many licks do it take till she get the shot. Don't worry about my
It's thebarlive.com Pugs Moran Show, PMS as we call it around here. Jimmy Ryan is with me as well. We've got a bunch of stuff to get to today, including we'll do our Douche tournament. I just found a new entry to the Douche tournament. Jimmy, as always, if you happen to see any stories, anything you're interested in, or anybody that just comes across your path in daily life that you want to call out and enter into the Douche tournament, please, by all means, do so. One of mine today will be a real-life interaction with someone who was a douche. We'll have to figure, or maybe I was the douche. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out.
Okay.
That's
I didn't realize that was actually something that you could do, is
Oh, yeah.
go for the real-life douches. I guess that does make sense, doesn't it?
Please, absolutely, yeah. I mean, for the most part, we're just going to pull these out of news stories as current events pieces. But yeah, no. If you the douche tournament is always open to just improv douching. So if you got somebody that cut you off or something you want to rant on them, that's fine. They can be involved as well.
Nice.
All right, one of the things that I wanted to mention, check out the Facebook page, thebarlive.com. Please have your friends like it. We're trying to get those numbers up. Boy, our views are huge. Our views are going through the roof. I did one of these episodes last week from the 9th, has like 9,000 views already.
Oh, wow.
So that's pretty good.
And
as a whole, the barlive.com, we're closing in on 200,000.
Wow.
You know, I had hoped, I was thinking like maybe 500,000 by the end of the year. No way. We're going to be at 1 million by the end of the year if we keep this up.
That's great.
And we're getting a lot of views. So thank you folks out there. We appreciate you downloading the podcast and all that good stuff. I mean, honestly, those are numbers that are competing. If they had a way to rate us with, I mean, we're not there yet, but we're on the verge of competing numbers-wise with actual shows that are on terrestrial radio at this time.
Oh,
that
yeah.
have promotions budgets and all that. I mean, in all fairness, never mind. I was going to throw out a couple of shows that I think I imagine we could be chasing on, but I won't because
But they're out there. That's all that really matters.
they're out. Look, there are shows that are on terrestrial radio right now that have nobody listening.
Right.
And trust me, I know I've been watching this since. Well, I mean, I've been doing middays for 10 years.
I've been a part of one of them. I started out my career with one of them.
What's that?
A certain nighttime show.
Oh,
where I just looked up at the speakers in the producer's booth and said, "Surely I'm the only one subjecting myself to this."
See, I didn't know that you started. You're talking about Liz, right?
Yeah.
I do you have a good relationship with Liz or not?
You know, just every once in a while we'll talk, but that's that was it.
I really like Liz. I really like her. I mean, I worked with her in Chicago, and I worked with her here. I don't know. I never really got a chance to listen to that show when it was here. Just socialize with them. I didn't know you were a part of it. I think of you as being a part of the Jagger show.
Right. No, that's not the one that I was talking about. No, it's the nighttime show that. Yeah. It was interesting. I was more friends with Mickey. So like Mickey and I
train wreck.
Yeah, Mickey and I like this is when I was just turning at the time I was just about to turn 21 and we were those guys. We would go to like the like hockey game or something, get completely hammered, and then just show up for the show. I was like, oh, this is radio, huh?
Yeah. Well, whatever happened with Mickey? Well, like Mickey and Liz were an item, weren't they?
Yeah, and
then I think she just decided, hey, I'm a competent professional who is. Well, she's been a lot of places.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that's hilarious. That's basically
I'm a competent
exactly
professional who has a career, and you're just this drunken deadweight that I'm dragging around.
That's what it turned into. Most of the time that I would go over there, they had like 2 wings of the house. And
I've been to a party at their house. I was at a good party at their house.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They would have like really great parties, and but I would.
And they had a cool house too.
Yeah, it was like really kind of. It's almost what you would expect from their show. Like it was like
a
their
party
show
rock
in a house. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would always spend like most of the time on one side of the house with Mickey drinking and all that stuff, waiting for the show. And then by the time that we actually got time to showtime, like it turned into an argument, which turned into the show, which turned into a big break.
See, now I wish I had listened. That sounds like stuff I would have liked.
It was interesting. It always made it fun.
But you guys were on at night, right? Yeah, I'd be on my couch watching TV. Yeah, it was radio. I was all radio, no doubt, by that time. But I really like Liz. Have you seen her lately?
No, I haven't seen her recently.
Smoking hot.
Really?
Smoking hot, dude. Seriously. Wow. She looks fantastic. She's lost a whole lot of weight. She's like a swimsuit model. She looks fantastic. Really pretty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was not aware that you were a part of that show.
Yep. Intern, not even legitimate intern. I was.
It was kind of a white trashy show, though. It was. It kind of was. But that's the Mickey presence, though.
Right.
It's like he brought this like lowest common denominator sort of appeal.
Yeah.
Whereas, and Liz is so bright. She really is a smart, capable woman, and it's like she would surround herself with these just Neanderthals. It's like, good Lord.
It was a mess. Most days that I went in there, it felt a lot more like a party than it ever did like a radio show.
Oh, it was a party. Yeah, it was a party going on.
And then I would go through because it was my job to go in there and like maybe put together some best stuff. And then I started realizing, well, maybe parties don't really transfer over.
Yeah, maybe
as much.
Parties are in the moment. They don't really. They're not really good for best stuff. But no, I think she's in Florida now. She's doing her own thing. She's I really like. I admire Liz because she's been everywhere, man. And she was successful, very young in her career, very successful in Miami and Boston, and then she came to Chicago. She was like I worked with her in Chicago before here. And she came to the station, and there was a big nationwide search because we were a #1 station, and you didn't just get to have a show on the Loop in Chicago. You had to really pay your dues, and they brought her in, and they really hyped her up, and she lasted about a year and a half. 2 years maybe. I'm not exactly sure. But then I remember it sort of went kind of the exact same way it went down here.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like she didn't have Mickey at that time. She had another guy named Sly who was just as bad.
Yeah.
Who was maybe even worse.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mickey was fun. Well, yeah, okay. Mickey you couldn't really get mad at because you just looked at him and went, "Oh,
yeah,
you're just a warning sign. That's what you are.
Yeah, I should have seen this coming.
You were set here on Earth to warn the rest of us that if we live this way, this is what's going to happen." But you kind of liked Mickey because he was harmless and he was kind of nice and always up for anything. The other dude, Sly, he was I didn't like him. But then again, I was a young kid and he was kind of I always thought he was kind of mean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, kind of stuck up.
Yeah.
Maybe he was just drunk. Did Sly work here in Dallas too?
No, I knew of him though because we would have to go back and like get like videos and like audios from like from the old stuff sometimes, and yeah, I saw him a few times.
He looked like a roadie for Poison. He did.
Yeah.
Or maybe something harder like Megadeth. He looked like a roadie for Megadeth. Yeah. All right. So at any rate, I forgot what we were talking about here. How did I get into this whole? We're just talking about
shows
Liz
that
Bob.
people don't listen to.
But I don't.
No, we weren't saying we were. I was saying that at nighttime, that was a really hard time to listen.
You had a particularly bad experience with that show. And I don't want to trash that. I can't trash Liz. I don't want to. I mean, I think she's great. I think she's good. I think she's funny. I think she's smart. I think she's capable. I just
no, she is. But I think that she would be the first one to admit that at that time it just
did
not work.
There was just something that wasn't working. I don't understand it.
No,
it's like when Kelly and I went to the Bone.
Yeah.
It was like everything should have worked, but why didn't it work? It's just I can't explain it.
No, sometimes it just it's the wrong place, wrong time, and then you're kind of stuck in it. You want to make the best of it, but and that's she would definitely be the first one to admit that.
I also don't think that show played the Russ Martin game well enough.
That was a huge factor.
You got to know how to play. Look, when Kelly and I came here in 2001, we were very accustomed to working with massively successful people and being the new show. So we kind of knew how to work that. We had worked with guys. I mean, here's the thing about Russ. Russ was. I remember always hearing this story about Russ, how he signed that big contract on a bar napkin. He don't use no management. He don't use no agent. And then I found out what he was making, and then I saw his numbers, and I'm like, dude, don't sign it up. Get a manager, dude. You're being underpaid by like half. There were guys, we left guys in Chicago who were making $2.5 million a year.
Wow.
And they weren't syndicated. They just had 10 shares. They were massive. Russ had a bigger share. I think Russ had like a 12 share once. And he's in the 5th largest market. And he's like getting his deal on a bar napkin and buying some giant hillbilly 10,000 square foot house. It's like, are you insane? Dude, you played this the wrong way. So anyway, we came in and we knew how to play Russ. Just stay away from him. Take your shots. Where you can. And then obviously at the end of it, we didn't learn. Couldn't play the game anymore at the end. And that's kind of how we ended up walking. That's
it turned into it was something that we thought was like a two-way street. That's basically the way the show took it, because he would take shots and then it would be our time to go on, and then Mickey would usually be a little bit drunk and he'd start saying things and he would be really honest about it. And then
it can't be,
and then that just never really worked out. And then it turned into a one-way street. Mm-hmm. So it was like, oh, well, this is going to work out real well for us.
Yeah. So speaking of those bad situations, though, it just wasn't going to work out for Liz there. We found ourselves over at the Bone where we were supposed to be talking, and then suddenly they're like, just play 2 songs an hour. Just play 5 songs an hour. Then it became like 7 songs an hour, and suddenly we're just talking up Dio records, which is so far outside of what Kelly and I would appeal to.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you could hear how much we hated the music they were forcing us to play.
Right.
I mean, not hated. It just didn't work with our system. Didn't work with what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
It was horrible. So, at any rate, that's what happens. Sometimes you find yourself in a bad situation, and I think that's what happened there. Although it doesn't sound like you helped much. Sounds like you were just, you weren't even bailing water off that sinking ship.
I was just a drunk intern.
All right. Very good.
Yeah, I did my part.
Speaking of things that didn't work, we're gonna do this at the end of the show in the watch list where we talk about TV, but I wanted to get it off right now because it's sort of... had a really strong conversation about this. on my Facebook page last night. Here's what I wrote, okay, Jimmy?
Mm-hmm.
I wrote, wow, America's Got Talent is really stupid. Stern is lame. Sucks when people you respect sell out and appear desperate. Have you ever watched America's Got Talent?
Mm-mm.
Me neither. Only reason I turned it on last night was because I wanted to see Howard Stern as the new judge, because I'm a fan of Howard, because I like Howard. I started watching this show, and I just thought, this is the low-hanging fruit of the low-hanging contest reality genre. I mean, if you think like American Idol and The Voice and all that stuff is low-hanging fruit, watch America's Got Talent. I could only get through 15 minutes of it before I was just like, this is appealing to the lowest common denominator of people out there watching TV. There's nothing redeemed. One guy did something fairly interesting, and I still don't understand how they can say it's talent. A guy made a thing called an earth harp. He makes instruments. This is his talent. He makes instruments, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he created this particular instrument called an earth harp. And what an earth harp is how do I explain it? It's a stringed instrument that, for instance, all right, if I was playing an earth harp here, I would have the keys or whatever at the front door, okay? And I would string piano wire all the way to the front door. And then I would get in between the strings, and then I would play it like whatever. Awesome. It was super cool. I had never seen anything like that before. This guy had strung it all the way to the top balcony in the theater that they were at, and he was in there. He was playing. He had a drummer in there playing along with him. It was cool. Don't know how that's a talent. I don't know how you take that on the road, and I don't know who the hell goes to see that. Maybe Vegas. Maybe they set up their own, thing in Vegas, and you do it there. But that was the only thing on that ridiculously asinine show that I could say, all right, Brandon's here now. Put his mic up.
Well, and the problem I have with that earth harp is that if you have, like, if I was to go in and I was to pitch this idea to like a room full of people that are going to put something on TV, network TV, and I say that there's going to be a guy with an earth harp, they're going to throw something at me. And yet America's Got Talent gets to put this menu like kind of into their show. You said that that's the forte of their show last night.
It's whatever if someone thinks they have talent in a certain area, they go on and they do it. And that's why you have to sit through ventriloquists, you have to sit through jugglers, you have to sit through all kinds of acrobats. Crap, I don't want to see on TV because it's not 1955 and I'm not watching Ed Sullivan.
Then turn the channel.
I did. I did.
But let me tell you something.
And as we get to this, so did America. So go ahead.
You must have turned it too quick because did you see the guy with the bow and arrow, the crossbow?
Yes, I've seen many people do crossbow acts.
Let me tell you, it shouldn't be in the finals. It shouldn't win the damn thing for sure, okay? But we're in the beginning stages where we go through tons and tons and tons of acts, okay? And they'll start to narrow it down. I will tell you right now, the fact that dude was what, about 60 feet away?
There was a guy who had a crossbow and was shooting balloons out of some girl's mouth.
Yeah, how far away would you say they were, though?
Yeah, probably 20 yards, something like
20 yards, okay? 60 feet away, okay? You do realize the slightest movement of that crossbow left or right, and that arrow goes about 3 feet the wrong direction, right? By the time it gets there. That's her head. The fact that she could have died by that crossbow didn't excite you a little bit? Didn't get you on the edge of your seat?
No, because I sat there watching going, you know what? Every county fair in America has a guy doing this, and this guy has probably done this a million times. There is not one. First of all, Brandon, here's the problem. It's not a live show. That means if something had go wrong, we'd have known about it, and they wouldn't have shown it. So the very fact that they're showing it on TV means nothing happened.
It's still, though, people don't think about that much, okay? They don't. I didn't think
people
about it.
Do.
I just sat down and enjoyed the show. I didn't go, this is pre-recorded. Who cares? It was great. It could have went wrong.
It's low-hanging TV. It is lowest common denominator.
Let me say one last thing.
Yeah.
To this day, I will, and I said it last night as I watched that show with someone in my living room. The best show I've ever seen live show was when they take the top 10 the top 10 contestants from America's Got Talent, and they bring them, they tour them. And that was one of the best shows I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of Cirque du Soleils. Yes,
well, look, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt because you are in the putting on a show genre. You have jugglers that work for you. You have fire eaters. You have people on stilts. You do all of that stuff. So you have a business interest in seeing what acts are out there and what kind of things can be done. Me, I don't have that interest. I'm just seeing somebody do something that I could see at car dealership grand opening.
But I
You
but
know?
I watched going what's different, what's unique, and let me give a couple examples. And we'll move on, okay? The little girl that was cute. The girl that sang and told like, "Dad, where's your daddy at, Patrick?" or Howard Stern.
Yeah, the girl that sang "Home" with her
Seven-
father.
Not a great singer. It was cute though. It was
cute.
touching. You know, it was touching, but it was.
That's what YouTube is for.
But let me tell you something. The guys on the bicycles, the BMX bikes, doing the tricks choreographed for the people jumping around doing
okay,
stuff.
well, you've got a BMX bike team, so you can appreciate that.
That was cool. That's hard to do.
That's cool in the parking lot of a car dealership on a Saturday
That's
afternoon.
cool on America's Got
no,
Talent
it
stage.
doesn't make national TV.
No.
They were
no.
choreographed going up at the same time.
Dude,
you
I
don't realize
can
how
see,
hard that is.
I go to YouTube and I can see any of that stuff. I don't need my primetime NBC television being taken up with that crap.
I promise you, when they get down to the final 10, the top 10, and they come to town, if you'll go watch that show, I might even buy your damn ticket.
no,
It goes from, it keeps your interest up because it goes from next act real fast. You go different stuff,
Yeah.
left and right, different shows, and it's the most awesome show I've ever seen.
I don't like the circus, and it sounds to me like you're describing the kind of entertainment you get at the circus.
Well, you
I'm
probably
not
had a
enter-
horrible childhood then.
No, I look at the
Scared
circus
of
and I go,
clowns.
you
don't like Cirque du Soleil?
no, not really.
Then you know what? I
Not
got news.
really?
There's a reason that Cirque du Soleil has more than one show in Vegas, and it's been going on there for years. Obviously, it works and people
Yeah,
like
oh,
it.
in Vegas, yeah, and it works as a tour. It's a great thing, you know. Cirque du Soleil could not have a network time television show. No one would watch it.
They couldn't
You
have an
think Cirque-
ongoing show. They could have a once-a-year show. Absolutely,
Yeah,
they
all
could.
right, all right. Well, maybe a special, sure, but nobody would watch it week in and week out
Okay,
because
who
after
said they
you've
would?
seen it. Well, you're saying that it's a success because people go to see it in Vegas, and people, you know, it's a different crowd every weekend. People,
Exactly,
First of all,
but America's
people
Got
will see
Talent is
anything in Vegas.
But America's Got Talent's not on year-round every day. It's on
It's
2
on
months
one-
out of the year,
It's
3
on
months out of
once
the year.
a week. It'll be on throughout the
3
summer.
months.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, here's the big deal. Don't go anywhere. The big deal was that Howard Stern being brought on to America's Got Talent was supposed to do something to help its ratings because it's not a very high-rated show. They pumped the hell out of it. And from the very beginning, I'm saying this is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
The people who watch America's Got Talent are not going to be interested in hearing Howard Stern the way I know Howard Stern. And if Howard Stern is not going to be the Howard Stern that we've all come to know, the ultimate mean judge, then there's no interest. And what we got was Howard Stern being a nice guy.
Oh,
and
really?
nobody wants Howard Stern to be a nice guy. Now, from Howard's standpoint, it's actually, you know, it's kind of a smart move. He's got to be worried at this point about, not worried, but he's got to be thinking about his legacy because he's accomplished really all that there is to accomplish in his field. Maybe he doesn't want to die as a guy that, you know, the obituary will read shock jock, offensive personality Howard. Maybe he's trying to do something later in his career here that will make him a little bit more palatable to mainstream America. And if that's the deal, that's fine. But that is not what the NBC producers wanted. The NBC producers want Howard Stern to be shocking. They want Simon Cowell on this show.
Right.
They want the guy that lit America on fire with his biting critiques on American Idol. And they thought that's what they were getting, and that is not what they got in Howard Stern. They got a nice guy, Howard Stern.
Yeah, it was horrible. I will tell you one part that was I liked but hated. I hated the Howard part of it because it was not Howard.
It wasn't
But
Howard.
when he went up there and hugged the guy and the guy sang the song differently, I love. You know, remember he sang the.
Yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched
Oh, that's the
20
most
minutes.
sappiest part of the whole thing, where Howard walks up there, he hugs the guy, and he's like petting him, and he's like, he should have been basically dogging the dude out like he would have done back in the day, and he didn't do that.
No, he didn't. He didn't do anything like that. He didn't do anything that was even remotely interesting.
What's interesting about the Howard Stern, it's obviously he's in charge, and it's a little bit like, hold on, why is Howie bowing down to Howard Stern, and why is Sharon bowing down to them? They've been here for the last, 3 years doing the show?
They've basically turned the show over to his audience, hoping that people will come out in droves to watch. So they're going to give him the respect that they feel he deserves, or that his audience wants to see him.
What's
get.
lacking is the argument between Howard and Howie, and there's none of that going on. They're all loving each other.
Yeah,
It's a love fest.
that was the first episode, so we'll give him a little bit of time. So how did the ratings do for the much publicized return of America's Got Talent with new host Howard Stern?
Was this really well publicized?
Yeah.
I mean, because I saw Howard do a couple shows, and that was really all.
Well, you don't watch TV, and I watch a lot of NBC. This
they
this
were running it.
commercial promo was in every commercial of every show for the last 2 weeks. I mean, if you watch NBC, there was no way that you didn't know that Howard Stern was the new judge, and it was debuting Monday. So the overnights are out. Surprise! NBC's America's Got Talent premiered lower in the ratings this year than it did last year, despite the high-profile addition of Howard Stern as the show's new judge. Monday's 2-hour Got Talent returned to 10.3 million viewers and a 3.6 rating, down 16% from the previous year. Entertainment Weekly's Ken Tucker suggested Stern's performance was too nice. And that is absolutely what I agree. I, as a Howard Stern fan, I wanted to see that guy who would rip apart shows like this now be a part of the show, ripping it from the inside. That's what I wanted, and we didn't get that.
Now, here's what's interesting. You said he might want to change his legacy and not be a shock jock, but you know what he doesn't want to do? He don't want to be at the bottom. He don't want to fail. So it'll be interesting next week to see if he comes on hard and strong and mean, which is all. This is all pre-recorded, though, right?
Yeah, it's all
so
pre-recorded.
It's too late for him to be hard and mean, right?
Mm-hmm. It's too late for him to change.
But he could change when it becomes live again.
He could, but by that point, it'll be too late. People won't have jumped in early enough in the season to be watching that. If he suddenly gets mean at the end, his people have already... I'm not going to watch. I mean, I'm done with it. It's like, ugh.
In TV, is there someone that watches all this and gives feedback before they put the second episode out?
Producers. That's what producers do.
Like, yeah, we watched episode 1.
They could re-edit. They could re-edit him to sound meaner, or maybe if he... See, we don't know what he did. The show was so damn edited, too. That's the other thing. You know where like applause suddenly die off, like it's cut. It was
really
sloppily edited. So there must be a lot of footage, and I'm sure that there was some consternation about how Howard's was going to play, how he was going to come off. So I'm sure that there's a lot of footage that they cut out.
They have to though, because they're setting up different acts every 5 minutes.
Well, right, but in addition to that, I mean, you could tell that there are conversations between the judges that were not there, that were cut out. If you watch the show, you can see where the edits are if you're looking for that kind of thing. It says, before everybody points fingers at Stern, however, here's a big mitigating factor. Last year, America's Got Talent premiered at the very end of May and was paired with The Voice. This year's Got Talent faced a full bout of competition from rival networks, so the talent competition might have returned lower ratings due to the schedule change. NBC points out last night's rating matches Got Talent's performance 2 years ago at 10 o'clock. And it goes into just a bunch of numbers. Basically what happened was America's Got Talent, despite all of the promotion, despite all of the publicity, despite all of the talk of Howard Stern being the new judge, still got its ass kicked by How I Met Your Mother and the Charlie Sheen Show, or the former Charlie Sheen Show.
2.5 Men.
2.5 Men, yeah. 2.5 Men, 11 million, 11.6. Yeah, it really, you know what? After the first hour of America's Got Talent, it dropped, and the other CBS shows really picked off. So it looks like people tuned in for the first hour, probably did what I did, and then went, all right, let's go watch Mike and Molly.
Does DVRing count toward that statistic?
No. There is a way for them. There is a way now that television, they've tried to come up with a way. Answer your question, no. They're working on it. They're working on a way to try and get DVRs to actually count in ratings, but it isn't going to matter because people with DVRs do not watch commercials. And the whole reason the ratings exist are for the commercials. If you got rid of all the commercials, they wouldn't worry about ratings.
Have you noticed in the last year what they're doing now? During commercials, they'll put like a 20-second segment of the show in between the commercials. Have you seen that?
That's right, yeah.
It's very smart of them.
Andy Cohen from Bravo pioneered that, and it was brilliant because he knew that people watched all those Bravo shows on fast forward. So what they'll do is in the middle of a commercial break, boom, the show will come back after one commercial for like 30 seconds, and then boom, go right back to a commercial.
It's just like a
Makes
bonus
people
plug.
stop.
Yeah.
Well, it's forcing people to, ride their remotes in their fast forwards because they don't want to miss anything.
This is why I torrent everything. You torrent things, you don't have to worry about commercials.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because now you got this thing. All right, you guys talk like you're doing a show, okay? You guys talk. You talk about whatever you want. Now
What's
you
up,
got
Brandon?
this.
Hey,
How's it
Jimmy,
going?
how you doing? Looking good today.
Oh, thank you.
Heard the latest Skrillex?
Oh, yeah. Have you heard that as well?
No. But I was thinking dubstep, man. It's the way of the future, man. I'm down for my D step. Dubstep, Oh, look at this
Dubstep.
creeper.
Watch my show.
Yeah, dubstep. It's gonna be a fad. It'll be here today, gone
No,
tomorrow.
that's what they do now. They put actual promotions for other shows inside shows.
Oh, my
So
God.
you'll be watching the show, and then suddenly, like, let's say we're watching, we're watching America's Got Talent, right? And then suddenly, out of nowhere, like a dude from The Office will just pop up in the screen, and it'll say, "Watch The Office," or whatever, and then the dude will go away. So they're trying to come up with ways, non-intrusive ways, to still get their promotions out. Oh, and by the way, last night America's Got Talent. Now let's go to the Snapple room again, where they show the judges hanging out in a room that's just adorned with nothing but Snapple crap.
Well, that's every show.
Recently. That's product
We'll have our
placement.
show like that one day too.
This is the problem. Like, okay, so we've already talked a lot about how, like, for instance, like in other countries, especially like the BBC, it's like kind of government run. They make things, programming that may be good, may not appeal to a massive audience, but it's good programming. But here we got nothing but lowest common denominator things to like just push. I mean, like, oh well, how can we make this? We'll get some girl up there dancing around half naked. That'll at least appease to like that group too. And then we can get. It's just insane now.
Americans are not into anything that they have to think about, and that's not an indictment. It's just the way it is. People work all day. They come home. They want to anesthetize themselves in whatever way possible. And then they want to sit and they want to slink and they want to watch something that doesn't challenge them.
Well,
that's what's happened to American television. Just light something on fire and let me watch it burn. That's all. That's all people really care about.
I think that ultimately
that's an indictment of us. Actually,
it'll end up becoming that in the way that our television is produced. It's all produced for money, and like that means you have to get as many people to watch this programming as possible. So where you may be doing, like, for instance, you could be doing like a documentary on space on the BBC, but here we'd have to have it, actually done by Pamela Anderson, so that everybody is into this.
You know what, guys? Often when I want to unwind instead of watching TV, I'll just go to Speed Zone off 35 Walnut Hill and hang out there for a couple hours, especially on Tuesdays when it's $35 all you can play.
All right, and that's what we call product placement, and that's the way you got to do it. All right, we'll take a break. 1 o'clock hour, we'll come back. We'll do a douche tournament. We'll talk about a few other things. Thank you, Brandon, Sunbrew Brandon, hanging out here. Well, it is the Sunbrew Brandon home. So he is always in the next room whipping up. What are you whipping up for lunch today? You got anything
I had a late breakfast, man. We're working on that segment, though. At the Sunbrew House, you can expect anything. Food
sure.
included.
Yeah. All right. That's it. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back live. It's PMS on thebarlive.com.
She probably be the eye cookie in the plastic bag. I could get crushed by a building. I flushed out the feeling of me doing the shit, cause I was leaving skid marks on everywhere I sit. I go everywhere I'm in, like I can go anywhere, anywhere, money more. I'm in your neighborhood area, see these things take that. I find the girlfriend and she said I got great sex. Sex is great sex. Better wear a latex, cause she don't want that latex that I think I'm latex. So wrap it up, but he's so sweet, she wanted it. Lick me like a lollipop. She lick me like a lollipop, lollipop. She lick me like a lollipop, lollipop. She lick me like a lollipop, lollipop.
It's thebarlive.com PMS, the Pugs Moran show every Monday, well, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for now anyway. Noon to 2 here on thebarlive.com. Jimmy Ryan is here with us. Hi, Jimmy.
Hey, man.
Going to get into our douche tournament here in a second, and it's maybe I'm the douche in this scenario. Maybe the other person is the douche. I don't know, but it's been bugging me all weekend. It was a strange run-in that I had with a neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
It was a neighbor that I had until this point had a fairly friendly relationship with. So we'll get into that, the whole douche tournament. But Mother's Day, did you have a nice Mother's Day? Did you see your mother, Jimmy Ryan?
I did. I ended up, I had a kind of an easy, because a lot of times, like me, my brother, and my sister, like it's kind of like a competition. We'll end up taking her off to go do something like on our own, usually throughout the week or whatever. This week, my brother was out of town, my sister was out of town. I just took her to a bar.
So it was just you.
Yeah, so
All
it's
right.
like, this is a lot easier.
You just took mom to a bar.
Yeah. So,
What, Sunday afternoon, you're just
Yeah.
knocking a few back?
yeah, we ended up going to like downtown and just like sitting out on the patio and having some drinks. So
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
A little quality time with your mom.
yeah, it wasn't bad.
That's really nice. Well, here's something. This comes out of Beaumont, Texas. Nothing good ever comes out of Beaumont, Texas, boy.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Except for cute girls. There are a lot
Do
of
they?
cute girls. Yeah, it's very weird.
Crazy cute girls, if the story is to be believed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Avina Wright said she was puzzled when she got a call early Monday. This would be like midnight, Sunday night into Monday. Got a call early Monday from her son. Not long before, around 11:30 p.m. Sunday, she dropped Clifton J.R. Barkin, her son. She dropped her son off at his house after taking him to Walmart to buy flowers and a Mother's Day card for Paige Parkinson, who is his baby mama. So are you following me here?
Mm-hmm.
Mom takes son to Walmart to buy flowers and a card for son's baby mama. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Mom drives son home to baby mama's place, drops him off, and goes home. A little while later, she gets a call from her son. Okay? Not long before, around 11:30 p.m. Sunday, she dropped Clifton J.R. Barkin off at his house after taking him to Walmart to buy flowers and a Mother's Day card for Paige Parkinson, the mother of Barkin's 2 small children. When she answered the phone, so when Mom answered the phone, she said that Paige was on the line. Okay. So she gets a call from her son's house, answers it, and it's not her son, it's the baby mama. Paige told me, this is the mother speaking now, Paige told me that she had just killed Junior, that he was dead, Wright said through sobs. So she gets a call, she takes her son to buy flowers and a card, drops him off at the baby mama's, goes home, gets a call when she gets home from the son, but it's not the son, it's the baby mama, and she says, I just killed your little worthless son.
Jesus.
Happy Mother's Day. You know why she did it? She stabbed him and left him to bleed out to death in the backyard. She didn't like the Mother's Day gift.
Whoa.
She had expected jewelry, and all she got was a card and some flowers. So she killed her baby daddy.
Oh my God.
That's Beaumont. That's kind of stuff that happens out in the middle of nowhere.
That's true too. Because the only reason why I even said that is because one time I went to the ultra beautiful Galveston, Texas, and I was there hanging out for like at least like a week or something, and it just seemed like most of the girls that were like the most hardcore party animal, fun type girls all introduced themselves as from Beaumont.
You know what else that is? First of all, you'd be hard-pressed to find any area of Texas that doesn't have just absolutely fabulous-looking women. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
This state has the highest concentration of hot chicks of any state. I'm including California. I'm including New York. I'm including Miami. There's something about the state of Texas. And I've always said to people, you don't believe me? Go into your grandpa's garage and pull out all of his old Playboys from the 70s and just grab a random one. I promise you a Playmate will be from Texas.
Oh,
they
yeah,
are
definitely.
all from Texas.
Yeah.
Model, everybody, it's just nothing but good-looking girl. Tyler is another one.
Mm-hmm. That's
been my experience. Every chick I've ever met from Tyler is hot.
It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah. I don't know what they got in the water out in these places, but whatever, it's working well for your women. The dudes are all insufferable bubbas, but but the girls,
true.
And that's what sucks. You see these smoking hot girls with these complete inbred bubbas, and you're like, girl, you gotta get out of Tyler.
Yeah, exactly. What warped sense of reality do you guys have? Do you not get internet? Do you not know that it's different in other cities?
He's not good enough for you. Do you know what you could get with your looks if you lived in Dallas? Have you any idea?
That is almost exactly. It almost makes me as guilty as that entire mentality when I go through these small cities and I'm thinking, look, you can hitch a ride with me. I'll drop you off in the middle of Dallas, and you'll have a great life.
You have a great life.
Yeah.
That's why, all these Sunbrew girls, it's like Brandon's got them under the pimp thumb. It's like, you guys don't really get that. You spend a weekend with me. We'll go to a couple of places. You'll meet a guy. You'll meet North Texas's largest Nissan dealer in 15 minutes. And you'll be living in his big Lake Louisville home.
Yeah.
You'll be taking his boat out with all your friends. Just got to look around a little bit. Yeah. But then again, that's why 20 and 21-year-olds, and that's why they're so easy to get sometimes, because they don't know. They have no idea. Pay your bills on time and have a nice car, they think you're the cat's meow.
As soon as they find out, though,
yeah,
gig's up.
Oh, they'll start banging the guy they bartend with behind your back. Absolutely. But, what you don't know about shouldn't bother you.
Right.
I don't care.
Is that what it's come to? You'll pick up the girl in Tyler and just not care when she's banging the bartender.
I don't care. What do I care? You're a dumb bitch from Tyler. What do I care? There's a whole town full of you.
I'll go by there. I'll plan another vacation. I'll drive through there.
Shit, yeah, hell yeah. All right, so at any rate, there you have. That's a happy little Mother's Day story. All right, let's get into a couple of douche things here, okay? The daily douche tournament, we like to do this every day. We determine who's the biggest douche. Many times it could very well turn out to be the person telling the story, in this case, me. So I've got this neighbor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Attractive neighbor. Pretty girl. She's dating a guy. She's a white girl, okay? And she is obviously dating a black guy who lives in our building. Obviously. She's always going in and out of his place. I've seen him holding hands. I mean, it's obvious. They're boyfriend and girlfriend. Not a big deal. I know him better than her. He's a good guy. He's a nice guy. You know, we barbecued together out by the community barbecue pits and all that. He's a good guy. He's a well-spoken guy. He's an impressive guy. He drives a really kick-ass Land Rover. You know, he wears a suit to work in the morning. He does something. You know, he's not like so. So any girl would be happy, you know, to have this guy or whatever. He seems like he's got his stuff together. Good looking black guy, athletic looking. You know, suit, Land Rover. She's a good looking white girl. Whatever. So they were. She was coming down the steps with her dog, and I was coming up the steps with my dog. And I said, and we always seem to like run into each other, like our dogs are on the same schedule. So I said to her, I go, oh my God, this is the second time today that our dogs have run into each other. And she goes, what? And I go, yeah. I go, wasn't that your boyfriend who was walking the dog earlier? And she's like, boyfriend? And I go, you know, tall black guy. And when I said tall black guy, she went, I don't know what that's about. Like, he is a black guy. Yeah. That would be how I would describe him if he's a tall black. It's not wrong, right? To point someone out. I mean, that is the most obvious characteristic if I was trying to. He's the tall black guy. That's your boyfriend, right? And I don't know. She kind of like gave me like and I thought, what, tall? Was tall the wrong thing to say?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Because that's just as offensive.
Right.
And you're not saying
anything offensive about it. I'm being a friendly neighbor. I'm like, yeah,
right.
so isn't that your boyfriend, the tall black guy?
Right.
But you were like, as if to suggest that I was a racist for pointing out that he's black.
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, like, it's not even one of those
She's not comfortable with interracial dating.
No, that's what
problem.
it is.
Yeah,
it wasn't on you. People would be pissed off at you if you were, like, basically talking about somebody who committed a crime and then just deleted that little part of information out.
Yeah, he was wearing a San Antonio Spurs jersey. He had like one of those plastic picks in his really tightly curled black hair. Yeah. It was kind of like a fro. Is he a black guy? Well, I'm not saying that. Not saying he was a black guy.
Sir, could you please just tell us whether or not
any distinguishing marks? Yeah, he had a Alpha Sci-Fi brand on his arm. You know those fraternities that they brand you. Oh, you mean the black fraternities? I didn't say that. He was very tan. See me? All right, I'm. This is like not at all what he was. The direct opposite of what I. You mean he's a black guy? I didn't say that. Why's he got to be black?
What are you, racist?
It was like that kind of weird, kind of awkward thing on the steps, and now I'm like, I've been stewing on this for 3 days, thinking you need to get comfortable with the fact that you're in an interracial relationship because I didn't do anything wrong, and now suddenly
Yes, now she's going to have real issues with it every single time it gets brought up. That's something she really has to work out if she plans on going anywhere publicly.
I'm going to totally bring it up to him. Yeah. He's cool. He's cool.
High fives you on the way out.
No, he's cool. I'll see him again, and I'm like, hey, man, look, I don't know what happened, but I said something to your girl. Tall white girl. What's she gonna be? What?
Yeah.
Like that. I said something to your girl. I described you. I said, "Isn't that your boyfriend, the tall black guy?" And she got kind of bent out of shape. I'm sure that he'll have some answer for me.
Yeah.
Or she's gotten to him first and has been like, "That guy's a racist." That guy. First, I am not a racist. I am like so far from being a racist.
That's what I really find amazing about this whole thing, though, is that like not even for a moment would you come off as racist, and yet she is like taken aback that much. I mean, like she really does. I mean, like ultimately she has to have issues with this.
That's what it is. Yeah. I think it's a secret. I think maybe I don't know. Maybe they're new. Maybe they didn't want to go public. But I I see you at the pool. I see you guys work out together. It's like you guys are. She wasn't offended by the boyfriend. It was just that I characterized him as a black guy.
Mm.
And he is a black guy.
It turns out he is.
And he's a tall guy.
Yeah.
I went with tall first. So I'm a heightist more than I'm a racist. The distinguishing characteristic that I went with first was that he was tall and not black. But somehow the fact that I mentioned that he was black just...
And further describing him.
It was like the wrong thing to say. It's not the wrong thing to say. And I will say it again. You, young lady, you're the one with the problem here.
That is so odd. But it's also one of those small little things that'll happen during a day. Like, if this was to happen to me, it would irk me, and it would, like, run on my mind the entire... I would have to, like, replay that in my head. Like, at what point did I come off racist?
Well, I broke it down. I was trying to figure out, you know, what... Could describing someone as a black guy make me a racist? I don't think so.
Oh, that's so crazy. But yeah, it would probably have my my attention for most of the rest of the day.
So I wasn't a douche. She was a douche, right?
No, she definitely was.
She's the douche.
This was
because
her
I
issue.
swear to God, I swear on my son that was the wording. Do you really think I'd go? Yeah, I see you with that N.
Right.
I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah, it's 2012.
I wouldn't even think to say that.
Yeah.
But now you got me thinking, like, was it close to that by describing him as a tall black guy?
Did my eyes say it?
Oh, I know. You're reading my heart. You're hearing what I'm saying in my heart. Please. All right, so number 2 here in the douche tournament. So we got my neighbor who made me feel bad because I described your boyfriend as a tall black guy. We got that as number 1. Number 2 here is boxing champion Manny Pacquiao. You know anything about this guy?
I do know of him as a boxer, but that's basically it.
Man, he is such a third world celebrity. This guy is he's like a king in the Philippines. And they really don't... The guy's just a boxer. They've made him a politician. They've like elected him to their assembly, which is like their Congress. The guy's a singer. He packs stadiums with it. He's not even a good singer. He's just like an American Idol contestant. But because he's Manny Pacquiao, he packs stadium. I mean, they love this guy.
I remember seeing a welcome home parade type thing that they had done for him at one point, and it was just the most unbelievable thing. It was just unbelievable.
I don't get it. He's a boxer.
Yeah.
That's all he is.
Yeah.
And you've elevated him to this status in your country that is far wider than your prime minister or your president. I mean, he's the most important person in the Philippines. Manny Pacquiao is who we're talking about.
It's amazing.
It's obvious that he is not an American celebrity. You know, you think, oh, yeah, I see him in the T-Mobile commercials or whatever the hell it is that he does, and you think, oh, he's just like us. No, he's not. No, he's not. He is a third world celebrity, an incredibly Catholic third world place that he comes from, the Philippines. Well, he's chiming in on President Obama and the whole gay marriage thing.
Oh, is he?
Which is not something that I want to hear from my boxers. You know,
Yeah.
I don't really care what a guy who gets punched in the head for a living, thinks about what our civil policy should be.
Yeah, what's Tyson's take on, on
Tyson
social
I
economics?
bet Tyson would be totally cool with it.
Yeah.
I bet Tyson didn't give a rat's because he's an American celebrity.
Yeah.
He knows that if he were to go on and say something about it, that it'd probably be the end of whatever it is that he's built up in the last couple of years since making his comeback, and he'd be smart enough to keep his mouth shut.
Yeah.
Manny Pacquiao obviously doesn't care. He's not going to live here in America. Why would he? He's the king of the Philippines.
I just, I think that it's kind of interesting, though, because, maybe they should, before, each boxing match, bring them up and maybe talk about social issues.
Yeah, let's get a little debate going before.
Yeah.
Boxing champion Manny Pacquiao has come out swinging against President Barack Obama's personal endorsement of same-sex marriage. In an interview with the National Conservative Examiner, the religious Pacquiao said Obama's views was nothing more than a direct attack on the morals of society and the will of God.
Oh, man.
I mean, this is crazy Southern evangelical point of view from Manny Pacquiao.
And he has a platform.
Oh, sure, yeah. Quoting now, God only expects man and woman to be together and to be legally married, only if they so are in love with each other, Pacquiao said. It should not be of the same sex so as to adulterate the altar of matrimony like in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah of old, he added, citing the Bible. Recently voted Forbes' 4th most influential athlete, the Filipino described same-sex marriage as an abomination and went on to say that America should be the model of morality for other countries to emulate. Well, yeah, we should be, but we never have been.
No.
We never have been.
No, we came here because we wanted to separate that whole thing. That was part of it. Like, we wanted to come here and kind of separate the ideologies.
But really, I've always had this problem that we Americans presume to be of a higher moral character than every other country on the planet. That is such... Jimmy, we are the only people on the face of the earth, not once, but to twice drop nuclear bombs on civilian populations.
Right.
And yet we're still walking around claiming the moral high ground.
Yeah.
We vaporized school children. Hundreds, thousands of children. I don't. What are the numbers from Nagasaki and Hiroshima? Now, in this day and age, if another country even gets angry at another country and says they're going to start to develop a nuclear weapon, we go to war with them. Yet we're the ones that actually drop 2 on civilian populations.
We're essentially like the guy who finds out that his girlfriend cheated on him and then just goes really crazy cheating on her, like to try to even the score a bit, and then making sure that she doesn't go out like ever. Because like we've already played that card. We've already done it. We were like, oh wow, so that's what it does. And now we can't have it if anybody else is going to try to get one of these things.
I think that the American people have pretty strong morals, but the American government have acted immorally since our inception.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. We don't even, it's like we sugarcoat that moment where we dropped 2 bombs on civilian populations and we cover it for maybe a week in school. We don't ever actually talk about what that was, what we did. We decimated thousands and thousands of innocent people simply because we were at war with the Japanese. And so we killed all of their innocent people. We don't attack. Now we get in trouble if one of our smart bombs goes astray and hits a milk factory or something, and we apologize for we dropped nuclear bombs on people at school, people at work, people in cars commuting. They weren't a part of the politics of their country. They were just trying to live their lives, and we vaporized them. So stop with the moral superiority that we all act like we have. We don't. That happened. We can't run from it. That was bad. Let's try and be better now, but let's stop pretending like we're somehow morally superior to everyone else.
Unfortunately, it's really easy for people to forget about that because I remember I took notice of the fact that when I was going through high school, we did obviously in history, we talked a bit about World War II. I remember there was an entire chapter dedicated to Pearl Harbor, and then when it talked about Hiroshima and Nagasaki, it was literally half a page. It was like, oh yeah, by the way, this happened. Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. We don't need to let our kids know the dirty details of what actually happens when you drop 2 Fat Man and Little Boy, as the bombs were named.
Yeah.
We don't need to let people know what happened after we delivered those over Nagasaki and Hiroshima. I mean, that's the worst thing any single nation has ever done to any other nation in the history of the world.
Yeah,
In
anything
humankind.
humankind.
In humankind. It was the most barbaric and awful thing. And we did it. We did it. So, I think we need to be a little bit more maybe up on the history of our moral high ground. We vaporized children and just moved on and celebrated in the streets. We thought it was the greatest thing in the world. We got the bomb. We vaporized school children.
Yeah.
And the Nazis were bad.
Yeah, right.
The Nazis were awful because, they rounded people up and then they did terrible things. But we never talk about what we did. And the other thing about World War II that we never talk about was our good buddies, the Russians, and what Stalin was doing. Because he was on our side. So we didn't really put it out there that he had killed 10 times as many of his own citizens than Hitler killed Jews.
They were all big fans of him.
Oh, we were all big fans of Uncle Joe. He was Uncle Joe Stalin. He was slaughtering his own people, starving them, and then when they're on the brink of death, handing them a gun and saying, get to the front lines. I mean, look, there's been some awful, awful stuff. So stop, Manny Pacquiao. Stop with your moral platitudes and how we need to rule. No, we don't. Humanity needs to find some common morality. Not just one country leads the rest of the world and the rest of the world is supposed to do as we do. Because if the rest of the country did what we did, there'd be a lot of bombs falling. Yeah. Because we did something terrible, and we should never forget that.
the best thing that could ever happen is that one doesn't take the lead. It just kind of it organically develops. Everybody starts. It's happening right now. It's so hard to kind of describe, but like social issues will end up becoming bigger in Europe, and they'll end up showing you ways to do that. And then here we'll have other issues that we do well, and it kind of mends together.
Well, as far as social issues goes, Europe is far advanced past us.
Oh, right, yeah.
They treat people better over there.
China's actually starting to move towards a healthcare system that'll get 80% of them in,
Well,
into churches. Or
China's different. China's awful. China's got some awful stuff going on there.
But
they're
still
on.
developing some pretty crazy healthcare packages, apparently.
Yeah,
as
I
of
guess.
yesterday.
All right, there you go. So we've got the 2 douche candidates, or actually, maybe we can count the third one. Well, where is my third one? I can't find it right now. Hold on, Jimmy. Hold on. Oh, it's because I lost my mail. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll round up the douche tournament. We'll get into a little bit of a watch list, and we'll talk about some other things. We've got a Travolta update. We've been covering the Travolta story here on this show. Somebody's looking to settle. We'll have more details on that. It's PMS, the Pugs Moran Show on thebarlive.com. All right, it's thebarlive.com back. PMS Pugs Moran show. We're in the middle of our Douche tournament. Took a break there in the middle. Just trying to break everything up. We have covered me and my neighbor. Jimmy, you've determined that the neighbor is the douche here?
Yeah, definitely. There was nothing douchey on your part.
I didn't think so. I got this neighbor who has a dog, and a lot of times our dogs will be out together. She's got a big golden lab or whatever the hell it is, sweet dog. And I mentioned to her that it was the second time that our dogs had played because earlier her boyfriend was out there, and she said, my boyfriend, and I said, yeah, tall black guy. And then she totally gave me the impression that I had just said something horribly racist in describing this white girl's boyfriend as a tall black guy. Made me feel bad. But then I got mad because I knew there was no reason I should feel mad. How am I supposed to describe it? Okay, so she's the douche there. Second douche was Manny Pacquiao, who just has I guess the Jesus-loving beliefs of a Southern evangelical preacher. Thinks that the game, he's basically a boxer chiming off about how Obama is mortgaging the morals of this great country, which I pointed out. Let's tap the brakes on this country having great morals. Let's tap the brakes on any organized government on this planet having great morals. People have morals. Organized governments do not. Organized governments are scary.
That's
all right.
Group theory.
And then we got this one. This was one from Friday. I wanted to talk about it on Friday, but we didn't get to it. So we'll put her in today's douche of the day tournament. Jimmy, we got a 70-year-old woman who has decided that she doesn't want to be a virgin anymore. A 70-year-old virgin.
What?
Now, what would you think? Wouldn't you think, she was maybe a nun for 50 years or, something like that?
There has to be really weird circumstances that go along with this.
It says she's a Shaw.
It's, what's that?
It says she's a Shaw.
Yes, Brandon. Her last name is Shaw. Her name is Pam Shaw. It says here, Pam Shaw is 70 years old and a true-to-life virgin, but she is ready to change all that. She says, now's the time. I'm ready to take the plunge for the right bloke, Pam Shaw tells The Sun. My standards are still very high, though I'm hoping to bag a tall, dark, and handsome millionaire.
She was so hot when she was younger, though. Look at that picture.
She was a professional dancer.
What?
And she claims that she remained a virgin.
Stripper dancer or ballet?
No, she's like she's 70 years old, so it's the way a dancer would have been 50 years ago. So not necessarily a stripper.
Right.
More like provocative, but,
burlesque.
She's not shooting ping pong balls out of her hooey, if you know what I mean. It's not that kind of dancing.
Was she not incredibly attractive there, though? Look at that picture from back in the day.
She's all right,
For back in the 60s or 70s, whenever that was taken, that was hot.
No, yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm sure she was an attractive woman for back then.
Picture her being in Goodfellas.
Yeah.
They just didn't know what they were talking about back then, though.
Nah, they didn't. They accepted cellulite at a level that we will not accept nowadays.
Yeah.
It was the pre-aerobics, Everybody had loose body fat. Nobody was, doing a spinning class or anything to get those muscles tight.
I like that we're going in the exact opposite direction that I usually see girls talking about on Facebook.
What's that?
Well, where they'll show like a picture of like a bunch of girls from like the 50s and 60s, and they're a little bit bigger, and they're like, when did this become not hot? And this was, and it's like some really skinny girl, probably in LA.
I'll tell you, 1980, a movie called Hard Bodies.
Oh yeah?
Out. That's where it all changed.
That's the exact moment?
That was right. Yeah. That was right. The movie Hard Bodies was all about these girls who were bikini girls who worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Bikini girls didn't work out. Not before that. Nobody worked out in the 1960s and 70s. Everybody just, if you were a good-looking woman in a bikini, it was because, you had curves and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Then, late 70s, early 80s, Jane Fonda and her aerobics tape and all that, everyone started doing aerobics. Everybody started working on different parts of the body. And then suddenly, you have the fantastic female form that is now what, most guys like us are used to. We would think that a girl in 1965 who got dressed or undressed in front of us, we'd call her fat.
Olivia Newton-John was part of that. Remember she had the "Let's Get Physical"?
Yes.
She wore the leg warmers and had the, what I mean?
Yeah, that was all a part of that late 70s, early 80s sort of fitness boom that women started joining gyms. Women started riding bikes. Women started doing, aerobics. And their bodies got toner than they had ever been before. And the image of what constitutes female beauty changed. because of those women.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Makes
fake
sense.
boobs came in. We started to get more picky with boobs. You know, back in the 60s, it was just if you had big boobs, they were fine. Now, if you got big boobs, it'd be sloppy big boobs. You
Yeah.
know, it's like
Many different types
Yeah.
that could mean.
like this woman looks like she got big sloppy 60s boobs. You know, like
I think they're okay looking.
nah. I bet you if you saw a full body shot of her, you'd be like, nope, no, thank you. Shaw does not believe in premarital sex, and her career as a cabaret dancer has actually kept her far too busy to find the right spouse. She says here, I feel I'm ready to give marriage a go and maybe go to bed with a man. Well, wait a second. That's not, you get married, you're not maybe going to go to bed with a man. You're supposed to go to bed with, not maybe go to bed with a man.
Are we believing this to begin with, though?
Well, I don't know. It's a news story. We're going to start questioning all the news stories, and I'm just going to have to stop my
Look at how,
subscription to the
how she's being
Inquirer.
provocative in her current picture, like the most recent up-to-date picture. That don't seem like the kind of a virgin to me.
Well,
Trying to say she's a virgin.
here's the
I
thing.
need a slap.
She's either a liar or a weirdo. That's
Right.
it. Those are our two. She's either
Yeah.
lying about this story just to
both.
get some press, or she's a weirdo.
Or both.
Because
Because you're right. 70-year-old.
She looks very provocative, very like she just left the casino and she's been having cocktails or about to go get some cocktails.
She looks like a trampy old whore.
Yes.
That's what she looks like in this picture of her.
Yes.
The 70-year-old picture. She posed for this picture, a modern picture. She looks like a 70-year-old whore.
Looking like she used to look, especially in that day and age, because she would have been really hot back in those days.
She looks like Snooki.
How could
That's what
she-
she looks like. She
Mo-
looks like
the
Snooki.
current version of her picture. There's no way looking like that she wasn't getting tempted by, offers left and right from successful guys.
Especially
good-looking
she's
guys.
a cabaret dancer.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Oh, wow.
that's the men. That was for men. You know.
the most amazing part of this story to me, though, is that, like, let's say I meet a girl my age, right? She's like, 27, 28, comes up to me and says that she's a virgin. That is unbelievable. Like, I almost would not believe that. But I would also, like, if I actually started believing it, I would be like, wow, that's kind of intriguing. You know what I mean? But at some
I
point,
think it's weird. I would
well,
think it's weird.
Yeah, at some point to me, it becomes incredibly weird. I mean, like, especially going over 30. If you get to 40 and you're still a virgin, now you're going over really weird territory.
Do you know any virgins? Do you know any guys or girls? Or
No.
now it's probably more common for guys to be virgins because there are just some. I think I might know a couple virgins.
Guys or girls?
Guys. I think I might know a couple.
Who
Or I might know a couple that haven't had it in 20 years. How's that?
people we might know?
No. Well, yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, if I think it counts that you're still a virgin if you're 45 and you've been to a prostitute. I think
Hold on. You're saying the prostitute doesn't count as losing your.
no, because it shows that you've never really been in the game.
But hold on.
Anyone can
the
get a
act of
prostitute.
sex is sex. It's you've lost your virginity, whether you paid for it or not. You still had sex. So I disagree with what you're saying. If you went to a prostitute and you had sexual activity going on.
Yeah, I don't think it counts. To me, look, you gotta be in a relationship with somebody. You gotta like not just a business relationship where
Right.
money is exchanging hands. You've got to get somebody to like you for you and be willing to do that because they want to do that
But
with
that's
you.
called
not because-
love and stuff. That's not called
No,
sex.
it's not. The last girl you had sex with, she had sex with you because she loved you.
No,
or because,
I'm just
she wanted
saying
to have sex
you're,
with
you're
you.
connecting with an emotion with whether you're a virgin or not. I disagree. I think the act of sex, you've either had it or you haven't. It's the physical part, not the mental and emotional part of it.
Well, technically, you're right. I mean, technically, you're absolutely right. I'm just being a bit more nuanced here. I think.
You're,
And I
you're
agree.
romantic. You're an old soul.
It's
Well,
not
no,
about
no, no.
romance. It's about a guy. I know guys who couldn't get a girl to save their life. They don't know what to say. They don't dress. They don't look good. They don't take care of themselves. They don't put any of the effort into actually being in the game. But they'll go get a prostitute.
Mm-hmm.
That's someone who's damaged. There's something going on there. He's not a real
Far
guy.
more affordable.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is.
He just
in the
got
long
rid of
run,
the
it is.
cost of wardrobe and everything else. He just goes spends his $80 and he's good to go.
Yeah.
But if that's the extent of your entire sex life, if that's all you really know, you are still going to be just as awkward as the virgin who has never done it before ever. And you're not going to be able to go into a place and like be normal in a lot of different settings if you're only educated in picking up hookers.
I think it's easier for a guy to have sex than it is to make out with a girl.
It's funny you say that because I I don't know if I agree or not, but
Prostitutes aren't going to
but
make out with you.
there's a
You
lot
can
of
have sex with-
lot of people that you've had sex with you never kissed, right?
No, everyone I've ever had sex with, I've kissed.
Jimmy, you've
What are
you've
you
had sex
talking-
and not kissed, right?
No, I've kissed every girl that I've had
Every
sex
girl
with.
I've had sex
Every
with, I've
girl?
kissed.
Every girl that I've had sex with, sure.
All right,
I
whatever.
mean, unless I'm with a prostitute, then I won't try and kiss them because
I'm not with
Oh,
understand-
never mind. I haven't
Well,
had
no.
sex.
Well, no. I guess it's a rule. You're not supposed to try and kiss a prostitute. I
Yeah.
saw that in Pretty Woman.
But if you're having sex with some girls, you may not want to kiss them. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
no, I do. It's part,
Yeah,
it's
I do.
part of it. This
That's
is what.
part of
What
it.
is wrong with you? You are so broken. What is?
I'm not broken. It's just sometimes you have sex, you just go to the sex. You don't need to be kissing and stuff. That's like your mouth. That's a little different.
I would have the most awkward.
I don't know. Every girl I've ever had sex with, I've kissed.
How are you not so aware of where your head is while not kissing while you're having sex? Like that just is so natural to like go right in for kissing. That seems normal.
Yeah,
Nah,
that's how it starts.
I would
No.
feel weird. Like I have to keep my head away. Like
Yeah,
I would
I've-
actively have to not kiss.
Y'all have never been with a chick and been feeling on her, just hanging out, and then your hand starts sliding down. You're not kissing, you know what I mean? What if you're in a public place? You're definitely not kissing. You never just kind of.
Yeah, you're finger banging her, but you're not kissing her because you're in a public place.
I'm just saying, yeah.
Your hand starts sliding down. And what is wrong with you?
But you've
Come
never,
on,
like-
what is going on here?
There's just many girls I've been with that I don't think I kissed.
But you're a man. You're a man tramp. You are an
Whoa,
absolute
whoa, that's.
dude. You're not a man tramp. You are the definition of a man tramp.
I've never heard it called a man tramp though. That just sounded.
I just coined it. I just coined it. You are a man tramp. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There are a lot of guys who, identify and define themselves as.
I don't
as
define
that.
myself as that, but I do believe there's many men out there, many guys that have had sex.
Have
without
you
kissing
ever
a
turned
chick.
down sex? Have you
Yes,
ever turned
yes.
down? You have. You've turned it
Yes.
down.
You know that. You know. I think you know this. Yeah. Yeah, I'm serious. Yeah, absolutely. I have. I could get witnesses on this, dude. I don't always feel like having sex.
Okay. All right. All
I'm
right.
more. I like the chase. I like the hunt. But once you've been there, then it's like work's more important.
God, I'd love to get a psychiatrist in here with you. I would love to hear you with a sexual psychiatrist, just someone that could totally break you down and find out what the root of all of this is, why you have this insatiable need to conquer. Because this is what you
No,
have.
I just like. Yeah, you're right. There's,
It's a need
yeah.
to conquer that many men don't have. You define yourself by the pelts on the wall. You do.
yeah, but lately I've had a chance to have sex with some girls that I've definitely turned down.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel?
Why are you looking at me that way, dude?
I'm interested. We're getting into a conversation here. This
I
is
looked
good
over and you
stuff.
got this Rick vibe going on. Rick from Ohio. Yeah, it's okay. There's many. Like for one, I had sort of a semi-relationship recently, and so I've definitely been around some women I could have had sex with that I didn't have sex with, because I had a sort of a relationship going on.
Yes. All
So
right.
that's definitely, and then I'm just sometimes busy, man. I'm just sometimes right now I'm in work mode. I love the chase. Don't get me wrong. If they were
Yeah.
around me, but on the phone I could say no.
I think that is extremely rare. I think that if we had 10 guys in this room, all 10 of them would say, no, you kiss a girl you're having sex
I
with.
disagree. I think you're totally wrong. I can bring my friends in right now. I can tell you right now. They'll all be like, yeah.
Yeah, but they're bros.
Yeah, but you get a certain kind of.
Bros
again,
say that.
That's not
no,
normal.
but they're not lying. I've been. They're
Yeah,
not
they're
lying.
bros. They actually are bros, but they're bros. Like
You're
that's
saying
what
they're
bros
they're
say.
like part of my crowd, though.
Yeah, they're like, oh, bro, I don't kiss every girl. I just have sex with them. Like that's their story. But
No,
most
but-
of them actually did.
Other emotionally
I know.
damaged dudes.
Y'all never had sex with other people like around. Y'all, I mean, don't look at
Well, I'm interested.
Why do you
I'm
look at
interested.
me that way?
Because you're a fascinating subject.
Okay,
That's why. and
Jimmy,
I'm interested in
Are
these-
you having? I'm assuming, Jimmy, you never been in a situation where like there's a chick when you were younger and like maybe your buddy was banging her and he's like, hey, your turn.
No,
don't lie. Come on,
no,
Jimmy.
I'm not lying.
Hey, your turn.
Yeah, no, I can't say that that's ever happened. No,
Ever?
I'm dead serious.
You never had
no.
two. How about you of a girl and your buddy of a girl? Y'all pick up some chicks. You're hanging out. You're freaking 19 years old and you're having sex together. You never like been in that situation. I know you
Never
have.
trade. Well, I kind of traded. Well, actually, Erica's one of them.
Here we go. Here we go. You traded.
But
go ahead.
it was because I was dating a girl at the time, and I was into her friends, so I ended up saying, oh, "Okay, well, you can be with my girlfriend." I was really drunk at the time, And it ended up we didn't actually go through with it, though, because it was really awkward.
It's weird.
Yeah. So
Most
that was,
people would see that as weird.
That does seem weird, but
Yeah.
you just never.
But yours is totally normal. Hey, dude, you want to jump in here? Tag in.
He's talking about his
Come on,
girlfriend.
tag
Now.
in.
He said
I
like his
know.
girlfriend. It's much different. I just can't believe y'all have never been out like to Duke's back in the day, like when back in the days of dodgeball, and like met a girl and like came home and it's like you and your buddies are hanging out and you're like you don't care about her. She just wanting to have fun. Like
If I
hey,
meet a
dude,
girl and I'm bringing her home, my buddies are nowhere around. My buddies aren't
Yeah.
coming with me when I
you
take
found
my
you found a way to
But
ditch
we've been-
them before you got
Yeah.
home. That was
Yeah,
the
and
point.
my
In
friends
fact-
are all right. Do I need to find another ride home? Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a
I'm going home with her, dude.
I'm gonna give you a straight up example of what happened at Duke's because it's what just popped in my memory
Okay,
bank.
give it to me.
We're out there in a parking lot, and I walk over. My buddy is like talking to a group of girls, and one of them's we're just hanging out. He's like, he starts kind of hooking me up, so to speak, which he's trying to hook himself up in doing so. And she's like, "Yeah, I'll go home with you guys. I'll go hang out with you." Because we're like, "Let's all go hang out." I lived right behind Duke's, and
Okay.
the right there behind it, and so we all went over there, and basically we hung out with her, and I had a roommate too, and she pretty much gave everybody a quick BJ.
Okay. You do recognize, though, that there are a lot of guys out there that wouldn't be attracted to that girl because she's a whore.
Well,
I mean, you recognize
we're not
that
trying
that's
to
a
judge
whore.
her. We
no,
just
no,
met
no,
her.
But we are judging
But
her.
you are,
Like,
yeah.
See, you don't care that she's a whore, and you'll
No.
pass a whore around to your guy friends. I'm
Because she's a
telling you,
whore. That's what she wants to do. She wants
but
to
I'm
pass
telling
her
you,
around.
there are guys out there, and I am one of them that don't want to have anything to do with a whore.
Okay, but you're
Right.
not the norm.
I am the norm.
Yeah, he is.
I am the norm.
If we're all hanging out, and a girl comes like, "You want to
You
have
think
fun?"
you're
No.
the norm? You think
In
that
this
you're-
setting, yeah, because everyone I grew up is like the same way I am. We all, I know they're my buddies.
Well, then I don't know. I checked the water in that town because there's
Yeah.
something going on. That is not the norm at all.
Dude, we would think you're almost gay if you didn't want to participate. Like if you were like, "No, I'm gonna pass, guys."
and I would think that you're probably going to die of AIDS.
Yeah, it also it's a
Something like
survival
that.
instinct. I mean, a lot of people would say that Darwin would like be offing the people in mass droves that are just going off with like girls that are
No,
obviously whores.
these are our buddies, and I mean,
No.
and there's condoms involved, and
No, my friends have their girls. I have my girls. We never cross.
okay, y'all had girlfriends then. I'm saying we don't have girlfriends, so see, this is okay. Then. If you didn't have
But
a girlfriend,
most
you'd be
people
able,
have girlfriends.
no,
most
they don't.
people
Not all the time. Jimmy don't have one,
No, but
and
I
you don't either.
No.
I also don't.
But-
I don't go out and like just find like
Whores.
the easiest whore and
No,
just
we
bring
don't
them
either.
back
We just happen to meet one in the parking lot.
and then take your turns. Like that. That sounds like pretty much anything that's out there.
Basically, when I was done, they were still around and like, "Hey, dude, come in here." And I don't
See,
know,
I
man,
would
they-
have been
guess-
like, no.
It's seedy. You're
Yeah.
describing a seedy lifestyle.
But she
and
wanted to do it.
And you've been doing it so long. She wanted to do it because she's a whore. Do you know, I don't even have conversations with whores. I don't. I'm not even going to be standing there with her when this conversation comes up because I'm going to be like, she's a whore. I'm going back to the bar. I mean, there are guys out there who are not interested in that kind of
I
relationship.
don't always. Now as I'm older, I'm not so into that craziness either. I'm older, but it's.
What did I walk into this room? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Just a point for Pugs because he won't even go in that direction. He's trying to make him. You're not being real. You're not being real.
I'm telling stories of the past. You know my rule. 1 year rule.
Okay. All right.
We know the rules.
All right. So I
I'm a
walked
little
into this
taken back
room
by you
today.
guys. I want to say that one of you guys, I would almost say, are BSing right now, and I think it's okay. It's an open show to say how you feel. I don't know.
I swear,
just
I
can't
swear
believe
on
that-
my son. that
Jimmy,
I'm
I got to
not
be honest with
BSing.
you. I know you pull the women, so I just can't believe you've never participated in like in a situation where like someone's like, "Hey, I
It's
want to
never appealed to me. I've done a lot of crazy stuff.
When you're
Believe
like
me.
17, you're always horny. Like at 17, every guy's just always horny.
Not to the point where, like, I've even been in situations where I could have done things like that, and I was like, no, that sounds like an awful way to end the night.
Have you ever had the times when y'all like do sexual activity just for the fun of it, where it's like you try to see how far you can take things with a chick, just to see how like ketchup bottles and stuff like that?
Dude, you realize that I'm the kind of guy that will cut a girl loose if I see that she's smoking. That I don't even put up with that. So
Yeah, but even when you were younger, just to have a one night stand.
when I was younger, it was even worse.
I don't like smokers either, but I mean,
But you'll have sex with a smoker.
yeah.
See, I won't. I won't. That's a deal breaker for
Maybe
me.
our libidos are different.
I imagine that they are. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen.
Your
I guess,
libido is abnormal.
but I don't like
my
but
libido
I don't
is
like
normal.
have sex as much as y'all think I do. I just don't.
Um,
If it pops up. And
how
it's
many times in the last week?
once again, 1 year rule.
So, see, he won't even be honest about it. You're trying to state a case for your own moral superiority, yet you won't be honest about the questions.
No, I'm not gonna. You know my rule. I just will never discuss something within 1 year. You know the rule.
But that doesn't work for this.
That's the rule. That's the rule
not
of somebody who is abnormal. Like
Right,
you're supposed to be able.
That's an abnormal rule. You're supposed to be able to talk about your
No,
relationships.
I don't, because there's people involved, and I don't want to involve them in this kind of talk.
People are involved in my last year of
You're so
relationships,
bull-
and I'm able to talk about them.
Yeah,
Like-
well, look, I'll talk openly from all the other years, in which is enough content to fill up a year of
Well,
shows.
yeah, but it's not relevant.
I know,
So,
but
you know.
well, my thinking's still the same.
All right. At any rate, all right. So let's do the douche here. Is it the 70-year-old virgin who may or may not be lying? I happen to agree with Brandon, and I think there's a little bit of fur on this story. I'm not sure that it's completely on the up and up. Is it the girl who couldn't handle that I described her boyfriend as tall and black, or is it what was the other one?
Manny Pacquiao.
Or Manny Pacquiao, who came out very, very hardcore against the gay marriage. Who is it, Jimmy? Who do you like for this week's or today's douche?
Manny Pacquiao. He's not from here, so maybe he just doesn't really. Maybe he has like a different idea of what it's like here. And then if you were to live here, you'd be like, oh, well, that was a dumb thing to say. So maybe I'll give him a pass on that one. But I think that I'm good. And then the 73-year-old virgin, I don't even believe her, but there's a lot of people that'll do that for attention. So I'm actually going to go with the girl that got mad at you.
You're going with my neighbor.
Yes.
My neighbor who is uncomfortable with the fact that she is in an interracial relationship and doesn't like that I described her boyfriend as a tall black guy.
She's offended that you're more comfortable with her relationship than she is.
Yeah, all right. I go with that too. I'm glad that you said it, because I felt sort of bad, not really understanding why I was feeling bad. But there you go. Okay, so my neighbor, the cute girl who lives downstairs, who is dating the tall black guy, who is uncomfortable with dating the tall black guy, is today's douche.
Hold on, I don't get a vote because I totally disagree
Were you
with
here?
both of y'all.
I didn't know if you were here.
Yeah,
for me.
I was listening on the line.
Okay, go ahead.
I think Pacquiao's, who cares? It's only a story because he's famous. We wouldn't be talking about otherwise. The girl that lives next door to you or whatever, dating the black guy, I think that's pretty common. I think that's a natural thing that happens with a lot of people. It's still sort of a little bit. It's 2012. It's acceptable, but I think it's a common thing that happened to you. I think the 70-year-old liar is the freaking douche of the day because it's just so far-fetched. The way she looked, her lifestyle, her dancing, the way she looks in that picture, I can't imagine this chick being freaking a virgin, dude, at 7 years old.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to stomach as well.
And if she is a virgin, she's also a douche because what the hell
All
she
right.
been waiting on?
It's still 2-1. So we both agree that it's my neighbor who's uncomfortable with being in her interracial relationship who gets the douche of the day for today.
Now, does this mean that you get to hand her the plaque when you get back over to the house?
Yeah, right.
Just hand it off to her. Go back upstairs.
All right, let's go. Let's go on here. We got a little Travolta update too. We got to get into this. Okay. Oh, we've got more breaking news on the Travolta update. Let me see here. The story I was going to go with today was that they were preliminarily in talks. Guy number 2. Okay. The first guy is looking for a new attorney because after the first guy got the date wrong, the attorney who was representing him decided that he was going to go with all of these other plaintiffs who had called in the wake of the announcement of the first guy, and he cut the first guy loose. The second guy was the guy in Atlanta. They were supposed to be close to a $250,000 settlement between Singer, the attorney for John Travolta, and the Atlanta guy's attorney. But this comes out right now. John Travolta massage suit dismissed. This is breaking right now. An explosive lawsuit alleging that John Travolta acted inappropriately with a male masseuse has been dismissed, according to a court document obtained by The Wrap. No cause for the dismissal was given. Attorney for the anonymous plaintiff did not immediately respond to requests for comment. John Doe, number 1, alleged that Travolta acted improperly during a January massage session at the Beverly Hills Hotel. The attorney told The Wrap last week that he had parted ways with this plaintiff, though his name is listed as attorney of notice of the dismissal. Okay, so that's what was dismissed. The first one was dismissed. The guy who got the date wrong, and that's fine. So there's no-
Congratulations.
Okay.
The truth is coming out finally.
well, no, that's being dismissed because he got the date wrong in this
Because
attorney.
it was probably fabricated. Exactly. Go ahead.
Well, no, the attorney has 100 other people who have come out of the woodwork since this guy and is now saying, you know what? You got that date wrong. I'm sure it happened to you, but I've got to go with these guys because they don't have dates wrong, and it's a stronger case.
He's
And there's
following the
people
money.
people that killed in the name of Charles Manson thinking he was the Lord Jesus Christ. There you go.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Another plaintiff whose suit does not appear to have been dismissed was identified as John Doe number 2. This is the Atlanta guy. This is the guy who's supposed to be close to the settlement. He claimed that Travolta grabbed, rubbed, and caressed his buttocks and upper thighs during a January 28th massage at the Atlanta resort. The suit went on to allege that the actor began masturbating with about 15 minutes left in the session. The attorney has not yet responded to the rap's request for comments regarding the status of John Doe number 2. Marty Singer, an attorney for Travolta, did not immediately respond to requests. Also, the cruise ship guy is now back out, and he's looking for an attorney as well. He has produced an incident report from when John Travolta asked him, he was delivering room service, and John Travolta tried to get him to massage him, and John Travolta had an erection and was naked and offered him $12,000 for sex. This guy apparently then went to the officials on the boat and said, look, I need to fill out an incident report with a passenger. They just offered sex. John Travolta's name does not appear anywhere on that incident report. And they say that that's standard because he's a big name celebrity, and they wouldn't want, this is just one guy's word against another. There's no need to go there. But it does appear that this isn't a new story, that this guy from a number of years ago did have a run-in with John Travolta where there was something that occurred that he felt he had to fill out an incident report.
And that incident report, I would imagine, is a really big deal because it's not too hard to place John Travolta on a boat, is it? I mean, like...
No.
That was my question.
No, he was
Have
there.
we confirmed he was there?
Oh, yeah. He was there. He was there specifically as an invited guest. There was some, like...
If you're going to be a masseuse, so this probably happens all the time from non-stars as well. So I got to think...
Oh, sure. I bet it does.
So let's just go attack the guy with all the money and get paid, and let's just ruin his life.
Yeah, why not? Well, follow the money. Look, I don't know. I'm not saying that these guys who become masseurs for a living are of any high moral standard, but there's money here, and everybody's looking to make their money, whether it's right or wrong. I'm just more interested in the facts of the case. I'm fascinated that John Travolta has a double life, especially since it's a double life story that I've heard for going on 10 years now, and it's taken 10 years for more people to come out and start speaking publicly about it.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I think it might be true. I just think it's not, it shouldn't be like $500,000 true.
Well, yeah, see, that's the thing. I mean, what are your damages? Somebody offered to have sex with you? I agree with you completely.
I've seen that happen to you at a bar before, and you weren't damaged by it.
No, I don't see how $250,000 is a money equivalent to whatever embarrassment you suffered. If anything, you should be flattered that somebody finds you attractive enough that they want to give you $12,000 for sex. I agree with you, Brandon.
But maybe you should adjust the scale of money here and call that girl and say, you owe me $20 because you accosted me at the Logan's one night.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. See, I was flattered. I would never. That was nice. It was nice to know that somebody was interested in you.
Yeah.
But now every time Grease comes on, you're going to be reminded that one time you're on the boat, he started coddling you and masturbating
he can never watch
furiously.
Grease or Saturday Night Fever anymore.
They changed the name of Grease to Lube. Go ahead.
I can't imagine that too many people that are masseuses see it go to that level. I'm sure that they get a pass thrown at them, and if they're not into it, then they're like, no, I'm not one of those masseuses. They're probably pretty understanding at that point. I don't think that most guys have the gall to just openly masturbate at that point and not really care.
Have y'all been to a swingers bar before? Either one of y'all?
Yes.
Then you've been there and you see how guys just start pulling their junk out and start masturbating right there. Anyway, it didn't damage us. We're all good, right?
Yeah, I didn't really
Swingers
see
bar,
that
though.
either, though. I mean, we took a tour and we walked through the rooms.
Oh, you
but
didn't hang out?
No, I got out of there by midnight. I guess all the funky stuff happens after that. I wanted to get
Some
the hell
weird
out of
places there, dude.
Yeah, and not my scene. No,
Yeah.
it's
No, I'm with you on that too. I've been
weird-
to a few and I just ended up leaving.
It's not.
It's
my
not
scene.
mine. I like to watch it. It's an oddity. It's just bizarre. The bizarro world.
What,
of
you
it.
have to watch? That's what you're into? Dude, you are like you're such a sexual degenerate. You
No,
really
but I'm
are.
like, it's funny. It's funny when some 60-year-old man walks by wearing a shirt with no pants on. It's just funny, dude.
It's funny?
Oh.
Yeah,
See, that would get me to look for the exits.
Yeah.
I'd
And
be
then,
like,
like,
how do I get out of here?
I went to the world famous Red Rooster in Vegas,
Uh-huh.
and I look up and the chick playing the keyboard like pops her leg up and is fingering herself while she's playing the keyboard, and I just thought, what the hell? Where do you see this at?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I don't want to see that. See, that's not what I want. I'm not entertained by that.
I like
Was
strip
she
clubs,
attractive?
but I don't like those.
Yeah. She was sort of attractive.
I like strip clubs.
Yeah.
But I like strip clubs I'll go to a strip club and not get a dance. I'll go to a
Right.
strip club and I like the whole idea that this is like where men can just be men.
Mm-hmm.
Where you can just hang out. If you want to look at a pretty naked girl walking around, that's fine. But the thing that I hate most about strip clubs is when they come and they want to sit with you and they start shaking you down for money, and you got to be like, look, darling, we're having a little bit of business here. You need to leave us alone. You know, I hate that. I hate when they interrupt. I don't want, and back when I used to go to the local clubs that were sponsors, and they'd always feel like they needed to make us feel, we're going to get a bunch of girls. We're going to send them over to your I'd be like, no, don't.
Yeah,
we
don't do
we
it.
don't want that.
We're going
just
to cost you $500 by sending girls over.
Yeah, no, we don't want that. We're just gonna hang out. Money wasn't an issue or anything, but it was just we don't want that. We're here to just look and talk, smoke cigars, and eat steaks. We don't really want.
It's more of an environment thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's an ambiance. It's like that's. I love the lodge. I love the men's club. I love the nicer ones. I do not like to go to the skanky ones
Oh,
because
man.
it's just. See, you do. But you're a sexual degenerate. We've already pinned this down. The skankier, the more stained the carpeting, the more cigarette burns in the furniture, the more comfortable you are.
Yeah, I'm not turned on. By the way, I'm not turned on. I just like the oddity. I love the, dude, chicken-ricas and stuff like that. I'm all down, dude. Ghetto strip club, dude.
I do
I
not-
prefer a ghetto strip club over a nice one all day long.
Why?
Because it's just funny, like watching for bad tattoos. You're like, that chick's so overweight. What the hell is she doing here? Like, I want to go talk, and I do talk to them. I'll bring them over, get a lap dance. Or
Well, go sit on a bench at Grapevine Mills. You'll see all of that.
no, you don't.
You will. You'll see all of
Nip
that.
slips and all.
I don't know. I always think like when I'm in like a really seedy one, and I've been to a few of them. I just always feel like there's smells I shouldn't be smelling. And, I just feel like
Crabs are just cruising across the carpet. Damn it, heading for
tables
you.
are all sticky.
Yeah.
It's just, and the girls are all skanky. The thing that I like about places like the Lodge and like the men's club is that the women look like bombshells. They look good.
You can
They
open
look-
up a magazine and see that, dude. I mean,
Yes, but this isn't a magazine. This is right in front of me. It's better. I'll tell you one thing I don't do. I don't subscribe to Skanks Illustrated. I don't open up a magazine and look at skanky chicks. So, I want a good-looking chick if she's going to be naked. And that's
yeah.
why I like the nicer ones.
Okay. Like I said, we go look for the fat ones, the short ones, the ones that have the bad tattoos.
Bad tattoos,
They always have like on their boobs. It's like a requirement.
Yes,
You're
the
gonna work
boob tat is the worst.
Yeah, let's just put a big ass boob tattoo that looks like ass on your boob.
Look at, just consider your nipples to be tattoos, ladies. Guys are looking at your boobs. We don't need anything to draw our attention there. We're already looking. It's so tacky, the boob tat. I hate that.
Yeah.
It is.
Look at my boob. It's got a rose on it. It's like, ugh. You're disgusting.
Yeah. It's really bad when you go to what you think's gonna be a really bad strip club and it turns out to be kind of nice. Like I was really upset with Tiger Cabaret over off of 30 and Buckner.
Because it was nice.
Yeah, I walked. I was like, what the hell is this, dude? These chicks aren't that bad looking, and it's kind of nice in here. This is BS. So.
Well, what are you going to get? All right. Well, I know that you love the dirty, skanky strip club. And
Just to gawk at. I ain't trying to participate.
would you ever take a girl out of one of those places?
Oh, hell no.
No, yes, you would.
No, I
You
wouldn't.
Totally would.
You're wrong, and I can prove it because it happened. I had a chance one time, and I definitely. And she wasn't bad looking, by the way. She was actually pretty attractive, and it just wasn't down for it. There's something wrong with this girl that I don't want to touch her. She's probably got a disease.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, but that's what I felt about her. So
That's,
what,
that's the thing about the problem with sluts is that they have diseases.
you know what's funny is this chick worked at this. In fact, it was Tiger Cabaret, but it used to be called something Cabaret, something different. Just like 15 years ago. She also worked at freaking Jack in the Box. She was a freaking stripper at this ghetto strip club, but she also worked at Jack in the Box.
Strippers aren't supposed to work fast food jobs. They're
you look like
stripping
her,
so that
you
they
had
don't
to-
have to.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into it. Anybody want to watch tonight on TV? Is there anything here for the watch list?
Tuesday nights, there's nothing on, is there?
Tuesday night's not a good night for TV. No, it's a terrible night.
Did
for
you watch
TV.
2.5 Men last night?
I did not watch 2.5 Men last night. No. There was an amazing documentary on PBS last night about the history of Johnny Carson. It was fantastic. It was 2 hours. It was awesome. It was the best thing I'd seen on TV in a long time, and that's what got me away from America's Got Talent. I'm a big fan of Johnny Carson. The guy, you can't say enough about what the guy meant to television, and certainly what he did for countless people's careers and all. I mean, the guy was really the most important. They say in the article I was reading about this special that was on last night, the New York Times did a great piece on this documentary. It was brand new. You may have seen other documentaries on Johnny Carson, but this was brand new. They said that in the history of television that there are really just two people, one man and one woman, and that's Johnny Carson and Oprah Winfrey. And I think that's true.
Absolutely.
I think they are the two most famous American television personalities of all time. You know, the thing that you don't recognize about Johnny Carson, about how big a star he was, take the biggest star in TV today and multiply him by 1,000, because that's how many other channels the biggest TV star of today is competing with.
You're saying that Johnny Carson is 1,000 times stronger than Snooki?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Is he still alive?
10,000. No, he died in 2005 of emphysema, some form of lung cancer and breathing issues. But this guy, I mean, we were talking about America's Got Talent getting a 3.3 rating. Johnny Carson used to do 15, 16, 17s a night. I mean, you have to realize he did Super Bowl numbers every single night.
In all fairness,
because there was nothing else to watch.
There you go. I was going to say, in all fairness, there's like 8 channels where now there's 172.
Well, but it's not in all fairness. It shows his ability to stick, because, you know, The Tonight Show had been hosted by multiple other people before. He nailed it down and said, no, this is how you do it. This is how you get that audience every single night. This is how you get them to love you and support you for 30 years.
You're right, but you're also, like I said, you're not being fair. Like I said, it's one thing to be going against 4 or 5 other channels. It's nothing to be going against 170 something.
Well, it's not about being fair. What's about being fair? I'm saying he's the most influential man in the history of television, and it just so happens that he had his run during a time when, no one could ever be as big in television as Johnny Carson was. That's a fact. No one
TV
will
entertainment
ever.
was just very new back in those days, though.
No, I mean,
yeah, how many years had it been around? 20,
40,
15?
45, and he started The Tonight Show in 64, so it had been around for 20 years or so.
It was well founded. Like, people weren't going to their TV and going, I wonder if it's going to work
Yeah,
tonight.
but
What's this thing? Yeah, no, I mean, it was.
But that was a time period when it was still new. I mean, it really was. And not everyone even had a TV in the 60s.
Well, cable wasn't
Well,
where it
in
is.
the 60s, everybody had TV. In the 50s, everybody didn't have TV. But by the time Johnny Carson came along, everyone had a TV.
So he hit when the good one was good. That's what kind of the point I'm making. It was the right time to come out and be the...
Right, but there were plenty of other people who came after him when there was no competition who failed. There are hundreds of people who tried to take him down, and they all failed.
Of course, there's tons of
So
failures.
what was it that he was doing? You can't just say that it was because there was no
I'm just saying
competition.
there's people that are really talented to this day, but they could, even if Johnny Carson was better or not, it's hard to let them. It's not a level playing field.
Well, he was better, and everyone who's ever done a television talk show will tell you that he was the best. That there's just, I mean, you don't even have wild upstarts going, oh, you know, Johnny, he's an old man. He's for the older people. No, even the young people who do television now, who do any kind of interview show, any kind of talk show format, they will all tell you that there is no one better than this guy.
Part of that is because it's like we say, oh, yeah, the Sugar Hill Gang was one of the best rappers of all time.
Who says that? Who says that?
I'm just, now there's people that say stuff like that, like
Yeah, you know
KRS-One.
people.
Yeah, idiots.
KRS-One. Yeah. I'm just saying there's emotional attachment because he was one of the founders of the whole talk.
But
thing
you're getting it wrong. You're getting your history wrong. He wasn't one of the founders. He was actually the third host of The Tonight Show. Steve Allen and Jack Paar hosted that show before him. And those guys didn't have near the influence that he had. And those guys stayed 5 years each, 6 years each, whatever it was. Johnny stayed for 30. He figured out how to make that thing. He was the highest paid man in television, the most powerful man in television, and they say the most famous man in all of America. And I would believe that people knew Johnny Carson better than they knew the president of the United States.
So you're saying there's no one out right now in the last 15 years that does as good of a job as Johnny Carson.
No, and there never will be, because there are hundreds of channels now. It's not.
No, I'm not talking about statisticals. I'm talking about talent-wise.
That's more. Well, I'd be hard pressed. Name somebody who's. See, because Johnny Carson had this thing that they don't have now, which is today everything is demographics. Everything. One guy needs to appeal to a specific demo, and if he gets that demo, he's a champ. Johnny appealed to every demo. Johnny had it where he had the old ladies listening, and he was still hip and naughty enough that he had the young people listening as well. That will never be seen again. There will never be that kind of host who knows how to appeal to every single demographic. Today, it's all about specifics. George Lopez wasn't going after your grandma. George Lopez was specifically going after the Mexican-American demographic. People like David Letterman, even David Letterman talks about it because he was one of the last of the Johnny Carson style. He has had to change what his show is focused on in the last 20 years because TV has changed. I mean, was he the best? Yes. Did he also benefit from the fact that there wasn't any competition? Absolutely. But to truly benefit the way he did, he had to be the best.
Well, it was a platform. I think that I always say the exact same thing to an extent, like with Howard Stern, when he had all of those radio stations, he was syndicated into all these different areas. It took a lot of talent to get to that platform, to actually get that platform. And a lot of people were pining for it, including some really well-known people. But he ended up making it. He ended up getting really well-known. But it was the last of that part of entertainment where you are kind of getting this massive audience and you get a chance to do something with a big audience.
He was also, the other interesting thing that they talked about was how he did a lot of, his monologue. He wasn't a stand-up comic, but he invented that monologue that every talk show in the world still uses. That was him. He came out and he talked about the news of the day and he had quick little one-liners attached to each story. That was never done before. And now we think that's hack because everybody after him has done it and has basically ruined the specialness of that act. I mean, he basically informed America, what happened in that day. There wasn't 24-hour news. You couldn't go to CNN and get your fix of what happened. If you missed the news at 10 o'clock, you missed the news. Well, Johnny would give you all of the stories. And the other thing about it, which is what I'm trying to get to, is nobody ever knew what political affiliation he was. He would make a joke about a Republican. He would make a joke about a Democrat. He was so all over the place and such an equal opportunity critic that nobody ever knew. And they were talking to people in the special, and they don't know. They were like, I don't know how he ever voted. He never told anybody how he voted. He didn't support any candidates. He came out and he just made fun of all of them equally. You can't do that today.
That's hard to do.
I'm sorry I missed it. I was too busy watching Outlaw Empires on the Trey 8 Crips and the Foundation, how they became about. And that's a pretty important show as well.
I don't know what that is, but...
the Crips?
Why
sure you know what the Crips are.
No.
The Crips, you've heard of the Crips gang.
I know what the Crips are. They're a gang. But I'm a
well,
Midwestern
if you would have watched
guy.
Outlaw Empire, you kind of
I'm a Midwestern guy. Those Crips and Bloods, they tried to come into Chicago and got their asses handed to them by the disciples and the Latin
Yeah, that
kings.
was brought to you by Pugs Moran, not Brandon Shaw. They
just
still
telling ya.
exist, dude.
Well, I know they do. It's a West Coast thing. East Coast
they have them here. In Pleasant Grove, where I'm from, the PG Crips were pretty big.
Right. This is
but
still
are they
that
watching webcasts on the internet?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, dude.
Crips,
that was
please.
Pugs Moran.
Yeah. Well,
Good show. You should have watched it, man.
what channel was it on?
It's Channel 3, which is like the same show as Biker Build Off.
Yeah,
Is that
but what
Discovery?
network? Yeah,
Is that
probably
Discovery or
Discovery.
A&E one? Discovery.
All right, there's nothing on tonight. Actually, there is something on tonight. Again, PBS, but I don't want to get all PBS on you. There's another. They run this show on Tuesday nights about NASA. I'm a big space dork.
Oh, really?
Yeah, tonight at 7 o'clock on PBS. It's called The Space Age, the NASA story. And last week they did the moon landing. The week before that, they did the Mercury astronauts. Tonight's about tragedy. So I got that already DVR'd, so we'll watch it. So it's going to be about it's going to be about the space shuttle disasters and the fire on the pad that claimed the life of Grissom and Chaffee and Ed White, and so it's going to be kind of a downer.
They were also on Cake Boss this week. Also, they built a NASA cake.
Did they build a NASA cake or a NASA?
NASA.
Okay, because NASA is in the Bahamas.
Yeah, I got you, NASA.
And I was thinking maybe there was a cake or something. That's it. There's really Tuesday night. What a terrible night for TV.
It is terrible.
They're nothing on TV.
See,
tonight.
I'm stoked about this night. Apparently nobody else will be, but I'm more stoked about this one than most
The
of the other days.
tragedies.
No, just like the NASA. I had no idea that there was a NASA documentary.
Oh yeah, dude, we're
going
like
on.
4 weeks into this special. It's every Tuesday at 7 o'clock on PBS. It's called The Space Age, the
Man.
NASA story. It's really good.
The
If you like
The
documentaries,
only
it's
NASA story I'm
interesting.
watching is the one on Big Bang Theory because the little Jewish kid went up in space. Did you see that episode?
Did he go up in space?
Yeah, he got launched. He got married ahead of time. He got launched up. Yeah.
I didn't know he went in space. Yeah, I don't watch that show anymore
and I
because it's on opposite community.
I could be wrong, but I believe was it Glenn is actually on that episode as the father. I believe John Glenn or one of the guys, one of the astronauts, is playing one of the roles in that show.
Is it Buzz? Buzz Aldrin?
Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah.
Maybe it's him.
John Glenn, Neil Armstrong, those guys, they don't do silly stuff. Buzz Aldrin, he's all, Buzz Aldrin is funny because Buzz Aldrin was the second guy to set foot on the moon. Neil Armstrong was the first. Neil Armstrong ran from the spotlight. He sees his role as more historical and not celebrity. He doesn't want to be a celebrity. I love the guy. I'm so queer for the guy. I mean, he has the integrity that you want as the first human that we sent up to sit on another planet. He's not doing a podcast. He's Neil Armstrong. He doesn't live in some mansion in a gated community. He lives in a normal house in Ohio and has neighbors, and he mows his own lawn. Most famous man in the last 100 years of the world. Neil Armstrong, certainly the biggest explorer we've had since Magellan or Columbus. He'll go down in history as one of those guys. But he just doesn't need it. Buzz, the second guy, I love Buzz. Buzz Aldrin's one of my favorites. I've met Buzz Aldrin. He's awesome. But Buzz, Buzz is like got that second little brother syndrome going on where he doesn't really have what Neil Armstrong has being the first. So he writes books and he talks about seeing UFOs and he does TV interviews.
He's like Roger Clinton. George's brother.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying. He's like a lesser, or he's not really a lesser because he's an incredibly accomplished astronaut in his own right. But just in that particular scenario where he went second and Neil Armstrong is the first human being to set foot on another planet, he's the second.
You know who he is? He's like Clay Aiken. He got second place, but he's out there in front of
there
people
you
more
go.
than anybody else.
Yeah,
He's Clay
Neil
Aiken.
Armstrong is Ruben, and he's not doing anything now, just as Ruben isn't doing anything. And so Buzz Aldrin's like the Clay. And again, I love Buzz Aldrin. I love all of these guys. Michael Collins, Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong. I'm just saying they're different kinds of guys.
Do we have a minute to talk about Celebrity Apprentice? We haven't talked about that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead. We're doing the watch list. That's it. That's all I got that's all I got for you today.
We'll start with Jimmy's thoughts on Celebrity Apprentice. Okay, that's over. So he doesn't watch it. Are you watching it yet, Jimmy?
No.
Okay. All
it's
right.
too late. We're at the end. I think next week the last episode.
Yes,
Is
it's
it the
gonna be
live episode?
Yes, it'll be the live now. Let's talk about.
So here's what we're down to. The finalists is Celebrity Apprentice. We've got Clay Aiken and Arsenio Hall. I did not get to see Aubrey get kicked
Hold on.
off.
Let's go over that real fast. I was going to try to go to those three, then kick her off. But shocked. I cannot believe Audrey O'Day is not in the top two. I have no idea what the hell Donald Trump was thinking by doing this. There's no way that Arsenio Hall or Clay Aiken should be above Audrey O'Day.
Well, Clay, I think, should be. I mean, I picked Clay and Aubrey to be the finalists.
Not above her. Did you watch when they picked their teams?
Well,
Did you see
not
anything?
above her, but certainly if we have to have two, I would say the two that should be standing at the end are Aubrey and Clay.
Okay, did you see where they picked their teammates?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you missed the best part. Okay,
I
Jimmy,
missed the first 15 minutes.
for those watching, basically this episode this week started off with Audrey O'Day, Clay Aiken, and Arsenio Hall in the boardroom. He's going to eliminate one of those people.
To get to the final two.
To get to the final two. They've already eliminated Lisa Lampanelli. She was cut last week for her emotions in the boardroom.
Oh, I hate her.
Okay, so here's what happened. They bring in Audrey O'Day and Clay Aiken and Arsenio, and he actually cuts Audrey O'Day out. He says because she's too transparent, they cut her out. So it's down to Clay Aiken and Arsenio Hall. So then they go to here's the interesting part. They go the next morning, they wake up, and Arsenio Hall and Clay Aiken meet Donald Trump. He's like, it's time to pick your teammates. Let's bring out all the people. They bring back Adam Carolla, and they bring Lisa Lampanelli, Audrey O'Day. Aubrey O'Day, then whatever. I forget the rest of them. Oh, Dee Snider. And
Paul from Orange County Choppers.
Yeah, Paul Tuttle. And guess who's picked last?
Aubrey?
Yes, Aubrey is picked last. They go through. Adam Carolla was picked first, which, as you saw, is the sabotage basically by accident. He was the first one picked to be on Team Arsenio Hall. The last person picked was Aubrey O'Day, and she's the strongest player in the whole freaking competition.
I don't know if she's the strongest. I think she's trouble because she does try to control everything.
If I'm down to the final two and I want to win, it doesn't matter. I'm putting her on my damn team because she's going to do most of the damn work, and she's good.
Know. Is she going to do most of the work, or is she going to come up with the ideas and then hover over other people doing the work? I don't know that she necessarily...
She gets it done. She gets it done.
Yeah, but
however it happens.
These guys want to win. I think they know
that's
her
why
better
you get
than
her,
we do.
though.
No, I think they know her better than we do, and they know what a distraction will be. I would not want her on my team because I would want to wring her neck because she is irritating. She is capable. I mean, she seems to win a lot or be around winning teams a lot. But yeah, I mean, By
the way, Penn was also one of the elites.
Yeah.
Did you notice who I left off?
Who?
the model, Diana.
Yeah, nobody wanted Diana back.
But I mean, I couldn't believe though. She
sucks.
just got kicked off like what, a couple weeks ago.
I'd have brought Diana
You would
back
have
on my
thought.
team.
You would have thought. No, it's not that they got to choose. You would have thought Donald Trump would have had her be one of the people you could choose from.
You know what also has to do with this? This last task, you're going to pit Arsenio Hall up against Clay Aiken. When they're picking their teams, more so than who's going to be able to dig the prettiest ditch, they're thinking about who's going to be able to raise the most money, because you have to fundraise and you have to get people who are willing to tap into their own personal networks. I don't think Aubrey O'Day has a big personal network. I don't think she has many friends who are loaded.
I understand.
You know who does? Paul. The monster,
Paul
girl,
Tuttle.
the guy who's got the
Yeah.
whatever
Paul
that is,
Tuttle.
because all of his friends,
Orange County Choppers.
because all of his friends are successful older dudes who have millions and millions of dollars. That's why you pick
Well,
Paul.
he's met
Aubrey
with
doesn't.
building bikes
Aubrey's
for
got a
him.
bunch of sugar daddies that won't take her call. That's what Aubrey's got.
Yeah, but I'm just saying she's a worker. You got to have a worker bee in order to freaking.
I gotta go with the fundraising.
All right, well, here's the deal. Here's what I want to get to. What's funny is Adam Carolla, who was first picked by Arsenio Hall, as you've been watching, is causing all the biggest chaos. He's letting everyone down on his team because they brought in the task at hand, just to let the listeners know, was they have to create a commercial for their causes. Like Clay Aiken is trying to help the mentally or special handicapped kids, special needs kids.
Yeah. He was a former special eds teacher, so he's.
Arsenio Hall's working with Magic Johnson for the AIDS Foundation, okay?
Yeah.
So Adam Carolla sent out his guys to help. I was like, I'm going to take control. I'll get this done. He sends out his freaking crew. Which
we'll tell people. They're in New York filming The Apprentice. Arsenio's charity is the Magic Johnson charity. They wanted to include Magic Johnson in the video presentation. So Adam Carolla offered his film crew back in L.A. to go over to Magic's house and film something there. And then they would send the video upload to the people in New York. So Magic didn't have to come to New York. There was no problems. Arsenio says, you can do that, Adam? And Adam's like, yeah, I can do that. I can send my crew over. Boom. Not to worry. Adam's got it covered. He's going to get the shots with Magic Johnson.
They get the footage, and all it is the side view of Magic Johnson talking. And Adam's
awful.
like, you know what? I guess that's what happens when you get a podcast crew to go do your filming for you.
It was awful. Yeah, Adam acknowledged in one of his private one-on-ones with the camera that Arsenio might be under the impression that I'm sending a film crew. I don't have a film crew. I've got I've got Jimmy Ryan, who does my podcast, and I'm going to send him with a video camera over to Magic's house, and they're going to film this, endorsement. This.
But wouldn't Jimmy know that you should have the front shot of the guy, not the side?
Well, here's the problem. In New York, on one video, Arsenio Hall is holding a basketball, and he says, I can't really tell you much about the Magic Johnson Foundation, so let's let Magic do it. And then Arsenio throws like a chest pass of a basketball, okay? Now, across the country, in Magic's scene, Magic is going to catch that basketball. So they told the crew, they said, look, the ball is going to enter the frame left. So make sure that Magic, when he starts, he's turned frame left, and you throw him the ball. Because then it's like Arsenio passed him the ball, and Magic is now, are we making sense here? Now Magic is going to catch it in the other video frame. The entire frame, he was turned left. He never turned to look at the camera.
Oh, he caught the ball straight on.
He got the ball straight on like this and then started talking to the camera right here. So they got nothing of Magic Johnson facing the camera. So Adam Carolla screwed Arsenio.
Oh, it's so hilarious. So who do you have for the win? I have Clay Aiken.
I got Clay Aiken. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't Clay. Oh, actually, wait. No. Let me think about this because, again, it came down to money. It was, yes, I've got Arsenio winning because there is no way Clay Aiken's charity is going to outdraw the Magic Johnson charity.
The actual outcome isn't based entirely on the money, though.
It's a huge deciding factor.
It's a huge part, but it's not entirely based on the money.
The money to be... I believe that the circle that is around the Magic Johnson Foundation will pump in far more money than the circle that is around Clay Aiken. I think Clay Aiken's going to have some real problems raising money. Whatever they do, whatever their party is or their video presentation, it may be better, but they're going to get swamped in the money raising. And whose team is Aubrey on?
Clay's.
She's not going to raise a dime. She's already said that. Remember she had trouble raising during the regular?
She won't, but she's going to work her ass off, though, because she said, I really got touched by Clay Aiken's story. Now I know his foundation, what it's about. I want to help out. That's what she said.
She's a disingenuous bitch, though. I don't believe anything that she says. She's an awful human being.
She's not going to go in the show looking like a bad person. It's her last chance to shine. She's going to try to get the world. Because right now, this is where her career pops back up. Remember, Forget all the
What career? Yeah,
Hold
this
on,
is all she's got.
But you nailed it. What career? This is her chance to get back out there. So it's her last chance to be in front of the camera and show off. They're all going to be trying to get their careers launched from this.
Okay, so you're going with Clay, and I'm going with Arsenio only because I think that they're going to be able to just draw millions. I think they're going to bring a lot of money in.
Okay, I'm still going with Clay.
Who was last year's winner? Who? Oh, John Rich. That's right, John Rich from Big and Rich won last year.
And he was so when he was interviewing those people, he was so serious and dead on.
He's a badass. You know the story of John Rich? John Rich, before the Celebrity Apprentice, was getting arrested every other weekend for a bar fight. That guy is a hothead.
Really?
Oh,
Even though
yeah.
he's just, after being a celebrity,
Oh,
he's still
yeah.
the same way?
That's why. People pick on him, and he's little, and he wears the big hat, and he feels like he's probably got a bodyguard with him, so he takes pokes at people, you know?
Wow.
Yeah,
Didn't know
no,
that.
Google search John Rich. You'll find all of his bar brawling and all that stuff. He's an intense dude. I mean, remember he almost got into it with a bunch of people when he was on the show. I don't remember who exactly it was that he was fighting with, but there was something there. All right, that's going to be about it. Also, you know, I should point this out, too. There was another thing that I wanted to tell people to watch tonight. Tonight at 7 o'clock, also on ESPN2. If you like the 30 for 30 movies, those are the ESPN-produced sports films. This one tonight is called 4 Days in October. It is a Major League Baseball production chronicling the 2004 American League playoff series between the Yankees and the Red Sox that made baseball history and finally put an end to the curse of the Bambino. So that's tonight on ESPN2 at 7 o'clock, 30 for 30. That's the big documentary series that ESPN has been putting together. You don't like sports, do you, Jimmy Ryan?
Football. I
Football?
like football, yeah. But, you know, and then if, like, the playoffs are coming around, I'll be into some basketball, but that's basically it.
All right. These
Hockey for the fights.
I know you like documentaries. These 30 for 30 documentaries are excellent. They're
I
just
watched
excellent.
the Raiders one because I'm a big Raiders fan.
What? I didn't see the Raiders one. I thought I'd seen them all.
Yeah, it was last year. I was actually reminded by a bunch of people on Facebook that I needed to watch it. It was pretty damn good.
Yeah. All right.
It was right after Al Davis died.
Did you happen to see my favorite one? I got two favorite ones. One is Who Killed the USFL, which was about the football league from the 1980s. That was about basically Donald Trump and how he screwed over the USFL. The other good one was, and this is, I've seen this one like 5 times, the SMU story about how SMU got the death penalty and ruined their football program. That one was fascinating.
Wow.
What was that called? There was some funny name. Oh, it was SMU Pony XS instead of Pony Express. Yeah. Pony XS, the SMU story.
Wow.
Man, they were doing some bad things back then. Players were driving around in Ferraris. They wouldn't even care. They were just flaunting it.
I do remember that those documentaries were really well done.
They are. They're very well done.
Yeah.
What they did was they made 30 movies for the 30 years that ESPN has been around, and they went out and got 30 legitimate non-sports filmmakers. And like Ron Shelton, who did Raging Bull, or who did Bull Durham and White Man Can't Jump, he did one. Spike Lee did one. I mean, it's all like real. It's directors who are also sports fans who are getting to do a documentary about some sports subject that they're really into. So it's a great series. 30 for 30 ESPN tonight, 7 o'clock. It's 4 days in October. It's about the Red Sox when they finally beat the Yankees and all that stuff. Brandon, anything we missing here?
No, I can't think of anything.
We just did
Tuesdays suck.
We did an extra long show for
we did.
a sucky Tuesday.
No, I'm talking about Tuesdays suck on TV.
Yeah, they do. It's not a good night for TV. All right, folks, that's it. We'll be back tomorrow. TheBarLive.com. Please go to the Facebook page. That's The Bar Live on Facebook. Click like. We're trying to build those numbers. Again, thank you so much for all the downloads and all the page views. You're really making this look like it's something we can turn into something, right, Brandon?
Yeah, man, we're up to almost 170,000 views on our YouTube channel.
I was thinking, we're going to be... 1 million ain't that far away.
We were stoked about 100,000
I
on
know.
Cinco de Mayo. And
when we were at 70,000, we were like, wow, we're going to get to 100,000. Now it's less than a week later, we're almost at 200,000.
Yeah, we'll be there.
All right, very good. I want 1 million. We're going to do a big party for 1 million.
Dude, our party was supposed to be for 100,000 coming up in June. We had it set for
We
June.
passed it. It's going to have to
June.
be for like 500,000 or a quarter
Yeah.
million. Maybe we'll do a $250,000 party.
Yeah. What was the 500 million or 5 million was what Facebook threw a big party for, right? Or was it 500,000?
Actually, theirs was 500 million, so he might be a little bit off.
Yeah, we're going to be waiting. We're going to
Let's shoot for 500,000, baby.
There we go. Yeah, $250,000, $500,000. That's what we'll do the big party for. But thank you, folks. Again, you can check us out on YouTube. Go to the Sunbrew TV channel. Find all of these episodes and more episodes of Y&R Radio, episodes of Big Dave's Show. Biker Garage, Bikini Girls, all of that stuff. Keep checking us out, and please hit like on Facebook at thebarlive.com. All right, that's it. We're out of here. It's The Bar Live, PMS for a Tuesday afternoon, the Pugs Moran Show.